on the campus of Ashland University. It's the NCAA Division II football playoffs on ESPN+. Our matchup today features the 9-2 Ashland University Eagles playing host to the 10-1 University of Minnesota-Duluth Bulldogs. At Jack Miller Stadium alongside Cade Krackus, I'm Derek Wood. Thanks so much for joining us. Cade, two teams conference champions from Super Region 3, two teams coming off of victories a week ago, and two teams with a lot of star power.
No doubt about it, Derek, and you look at what they were able to do last week. Incredible performances for them, as they were able to get a lot of things done on the offensive end. We saw Ashland come away 34-14, a victory over Lake Erie by 20 points. They were Great Midwest Athletic Conference champions, and you look at Minnesota-Duluth, their side of things. They were outright Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference champions with a win over Minot State 33-7. When you look at these two teams riding high here today.
And those two teams are riding high, as you mentioned, upon really good star players who have led them from start to finish this season. We start with Minnesota-Duluth. Their quarterback might be the best dual threat quarterback we've ever seen here at Jack Miller Stadium.
No doubt about it. Kyle Walljasper on the season, 2,176 passing yards, 26 touchdowns through the air, 5 interceptions, and with today 16 more yards, he'd be at 10,000 yards all-purpose in his career. So a dual threat quarterback through and through, and a player who's going to have to go up against him and try to see what he can do here today and get in the backfield. That's Michael Shimmick, the senior defensive end for Ashland. 51 tackles on the year, 16 sacks, which leads the nation in Division II. He has been an incredible force off the line all year long.
A prolific scoring offense, a prolific scoring defense. It's the 10th appearance in the playoffs for Ashland, the 13th appearance for Minnesota-Duluth. Something's got to give, and the stage is set as we go down to the field for our kickoff here today on ESPN+. Thanks so much for joining us. A lot of fans have packed here at Jack Miller Stadium. Minnesota-Duluth fans have traveled well, and we're expecting a fabulous broadcast as Ashland will kick this one away to start things off, and Minnesota-Duluth will be back to return.
A good chance for the Eagles to showcase what this defensive pressure has in store for us. Not only is it the Shimmick versus Walljasper game, but it's also defensive coordinator Tim Rose versus Walljasper. What does the legendary defensive coordinator Tim Rose have in store for his defense today?
Deshaun Ames, Ryder Patterson back to return. Nate Russell boots it away, and we're underway in the Division II playoffs from Ashland, Ohio. This one brought out deep and out on the left side. Minnesota-Duluth looking to strike first. Can they do so? Down the sideline goes Deshaun Ames, and what a start for the Bulldogs.
You couldn't ask for much more than that. The redshirt senior from Cumberland, Wisconsin takes it, an incredible return, and sets up this offense with excellent field position to begin.
And now the quarterback, we talked about his dual threat ability. Walljasper has 16 rushing touchdowns on the year, but just a few more missed defenders away, and the Bulldog offense might have not had to come out. An excellent special teams play to kick things off in the Division II football playoffs. Walljasper in the shotgun. The fake, he'll keep it to himself, and he'll fire out in the flat. That one sails incomplete. The intended target, Ryder Patterson. Patterson also spends time on special teams as a kick returner. A lot of athleticism in that Bulldog offense that is averaging 40 points a game. There's our tail of the tape here on ESPN+. Eagles averaging just over 27. 10-1 the Bulldogs, 9-2 the Eagles. The rushing attack really favors the Bulldogs, but Ashland has a freshman running back who's come on strong here as of late, and then the passing offenses, 222 there for Minnesota-Duluth and 172 for Ashland, and the Bulldogs opt to keep it on the ground.
Talk about a quick start here for the Bulldogs. A sizable return to begin the outing, then an incompletion.
A look at our starting offense for the Bulldogs. Ames, Thomas, Smalley, Gertz, Grillo, Kongsjord, Ogel and company going to try to lead the way for this Bulldog offense. On the reception, Danicki, the tight end, he has been terrific. There's the starting defense for Ashland. Baldridge, Swackhammer, Shimmick and company on the defensive line. The secondary, Jackson, Tia, Vasquez, and Brooks. Back in the lineup, Holzapfel after some time on the sideline. He's been injured the last few weeks. So just like that Bulldog offense, with a lot of heavy hitters, that Ashland defense that holds teams to less than 15 points a game, while the Bulldogs are a top 8 scoring offense in America. Something's got to give an understatement. The tailback keeps it himself, pushes his way up towards the goal line, but the Ashland defense pushing him back.
It was Derek Johnson on the carry. He's only played in 7 games this season, taking 53 handoffs for 184 yards and 1 touchdown. One of those chunk carry type players, trying to get you a couple yards here and there, power his way forward, and really work a defense down, averaging 3.4 yards a carry. That time he'll pick up a few, brings up 2nd and 5.
Shotgun here for Minnesota-Duluth. 2 receivers to Wall Jasper's right. He'll stay behind the blockers with 16 rushing touchdowns. The 6'2", 240-pound quarterback keeps it himself, trying to push his way forward.
It's going to take everyone to try to bring him down. He is a force to be reckoned with. The physicality he brings at the quarterback position, his size, his ability to put that ball in situations that the defense doesn't like. And you see there's probably 6, 7, 8 guys in there trying to force him down to the ground, and they don't even get the chance to.
This Bulldog offense working quickly. Makes it 3rd and 3 from the 5. They want to strike first and strike first quickly. A bunch look to the right, and to the right goes Wall Jasper in there first on the takedown. Baldridge got to him first. Izzy Vasquez came in from the secondary as well. Ashland trying to send multiple defenders towards Wall Jasper, who's kept it a couple times, and then tried to go with some of his favorite targets here early on. Patterson's been one of them. 4th and short now, and it looks like they're going to go for it here. Ashland looking for a stop. This would be huge for the defense after what they gave up on the special teams side of things moments ago. Yeah, they gave no indication to come off the field. Danicki, the tight end, perhaps it's an option, but this time Wall Jasper keeps it himself. He's at the goal line. We're waiting for an official call. No signal yet. Did they score on 4th down? The Bulldogs looking to strike first, and they do. Touchdown, Minnesota-Duluth. All systems go on the opening possession for the Bulldogs. Kyle Wall Jasper from just a few yards out, pushing the pile. A statement there from this Minnesota-Duluth offense to go for it on 4th, and not only go for it, pick it up, but find the end zone. Take a look at the replay here. Design quarterback keeper Wall Jasper just trugging his way forward, and yeah, he got into the end zone there by just a hair. What a play, and it's 6-0. Talk about confidence from the Bulldog offense. Gave no indication to come out on 4th down and stayed on the field and able to score first. Drew Johnson out to attempt the extra point. Or excuse me, Henson out to attempt the extra point. That one's good, and Minnesota-Duluth jumps out in front early. 7-0 on top of Ashland, 11:37 left here in the first quarter. And Ashland will look for answers on defense. We've talked about a prolific scoring offense and a prolific scoring defense. Well, what more would you expect from Minnesota-Duluth? 10-1 on the year. Ranked 7th in the country entering today's matchup, but found themselves as really the 5 seed, if you will, in the Super Region 3 rankings. A real good argument to make that this game should have been hosted at Minnesota-Duluth. But Ashland, down the stretch of the regular season, showed some tenacity, has 2 conference losses, but one came to Findlay late in the year, who then lost the following week to Tiffin, and Ashland had defeated Tiffin already, and they shared Great Midwest Athletic Conference championships. Meanwhile, Minnesota-Duluth outright champions of the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference for the first time since 2012. Also their first undisputed North Division title since the 2019 season. So Henson trots out to boot it away, back to return. DJ Harvey and Riley Weiss for Ashland. And we'll see where senior quarterback Cam Blair, where he goes offensively on the Eagles' first possession of the game. An excellent return for Minnesota-Duluth. Had them with excellent field position that they took advantage of. This time it's going to be a different outcome on Ashland's first kick return of the game. As we take a look at the starters on offense for Ashland, Joseph and Kroom, the wide receivers. Chris Maloney, we talked about the freshman's resurgence on the team late in the season, playing behind a couple different guys, and now has the starting nod. Big fellows up front: Riddle, Enders, Henry, Trasick, and Walker, and then Jonathan Merrimee, who's seen some time at tight end, he'll split time with Brock Henny. They're led by the quarterback Cam Blair in his redshirt senior year. The give to Maloney. Not much doing there on that opening play. In there on the takedown quickly. There's the starting defense for Minnesota-Duluth. Rendell, Pearson, McLeod, and Wirtz up front. Sylvester, Revord, Walrath. The linebackers then McQueen, Schrum, Kraus, and McCoy. This time we can get both sets of starters. That offense for Ashland not working near as quickly as Minnesota-Duluth's offense was. But certainly stars on both sides of the football. As Blair rolls out to his right, that one sent downfield and over the head of Jent Joseph, his target downfield. The defense stepping up there for Minnesota-Duluth, and now it's 3rd and 8 on Ashland's opening possession.
Yeah, Ashland's got to pick up something here. He was trying to go the direction of Joseph. He had Merrimee and Romanowski in the area. Could have gone to all 3 of them. They had beat their man by just a hair each, but just overthrown on the play. And Ashland now in an uncomfortable situation, down 7. And just as quickly as they got the ball, they might be giving it right back to the Bulldogs.
The opening drive for Minnesota-Duluth, 7 plays, 33 yards. It took 3:14 off the clock, working very quickly. Ashland not working that quickly here on this possession. Still trying to find some rhythm. Blair steps up across the middle. That one's caught. On the reception there for Ashland, Luke Brenner. His first reception of the game. Yeah, moves the chains and makes it 1st down.
Brenner was wide open in that situation, coming across the middle of the field. The Bulldogs dropped back in zone there to try to catch off all of these open receivers. It was a 5-wide look for Ashland. And look at that wide open space Brenner had. And he puts it right down low to the waist where no one else can get to it.
Shotgun look for Blair, 3 to his right. Hand off to Maloney. He bounces off tackle right side and up the middle. Chris Maloney coming off of a 196-yard performance a week ago in the win over Lake Erie. He also had 2 touchdowns. Certainly has been a spark, as we've mentioned, for Ashland down the stretch of the regular season.
You see him get the handoff here from Blair, cut to the outside. He sees a hole, finds it, and then a good open field tackle there by the Bulldogs. Jarrett Bennett, the redshirt junior defensive back, bringing Maloney down to the turf.
Wall, Jasper, and Danicki for Minnesota-Duluth, certainly a dynamic duo. Blair and Maloney trying to do that for Ashland here in this one early on. As Ashland still looking for some tempo here, looks to the sideline for the play call. Got an extra blocker out in front for Maloney. He'll be tripped up just beyond the line of scrimmage. A couple different Bulldogs in there on the takedown.
The nice thing for Ashland in that situation is it looked like the line had kind of collapsed immediately, which would have meant Maloney would have gotten taken down in the backfield, but he found a little tiny hole to throw his body through and then gain a couple yards on the play, which not only keeps that clock moving along here in quarter number 1, but puts Ashland deeper into the Bulldog territory.
Pickup of 2 makes it 2nd and 8. Clock approaching 9 minutes left here in this first quarter. Blair still in the shotgun, man in motion is Harvey. The snap to Blair, give to Maloney. No, Blair keeps it himself. Bulldogs not falling for that one. That's certainly been on their game film of this Ashland offense, that Blair has the legs to keep it. In there on the tackle, 91. And now a 3rd and 3 here for Ashland.
That was Trey Bixby on the tackle. The defensive lineman from Minnesota-Duluth gets in there. 6'4", 250 pounds. Good tackle on Blair. Blair on the campaign has taken 67 handoffs for 355 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's averaging over 5 yards a carry.
A timeout taken by the Bulldogs on 3rd and 3, and we'll step aside as well. 7-0 your score. Bulldogs lead the Eagles in the NCAA Division II playoffs. You're watching college football on ESPN+. Back here on the campus of Ashland University, Minnesota-Duluth leads Ashland 7-0, 8:35 left here in the first quarter. 3rd and 3, a big third down here for the Eagles. Blair keeps it back up the middle. Did he get it? That Bulldog defense pushing him back. We'll get the official spot here. I believe he did get it.
He ran into a load of bodies there.
Yeah, a lot of heavy hitters on that Bulldog defense, holding teams to less than 20 points per game.
They gave it to him.
And it is going to be a first down. A snap off to Blair's right there, and he had to keep it, push his way back up the middle. Got some extra pushing and shoving from the offensive lineman. These two teams squaring off in the opening round of Super Region 3. Bulldogs on top, 7-0. Give it to Maloney, bounces out. At least it tried to bounce out somewhere, and the Bulldogs able to swallow him up in the backfield.
Yeah, we're seeing a really strong start here for the Bulldogs front line. I mean, they're stuffing the run a number of times now. We've seen Cam Blair try to do it. We've seen Chris Maloney try to do it. Look at this replay here. Maloney gets the handoff. He doesn't have anywhere to go because the edge is completely covered. The first one to get to him was the defensive back, Joey Krause, the redshirt sophomore from Savage, Minnesota. Came off the edge, and it was just him versus Maloney. That's an easy tackle to make.
Krause coming in there from that defensive back position. One of the ball hawks there. With 3 interceptions on the year, tied for a team high. Here's Blair stepping up and firing across the middle, and Maramy outstretches the hands, and he catches it and then stumbles forward before he's taken down. He does pick up a first down in there on the tackle eventually for Minnesota-Duluth, Jarrett Bennett.
That's a huge catch by Maramy. Look at Blair. He kind of overthrows him a little bit here. The hands go up high. He high points it, comes down through the middle, and gains about 5 yards while stumbling forward. You mentioned it there. He was a little bit off balance, but is able to make something out of nothing. Just his 24th catch of the season. He's up over 300 yards.
Fresh set of downs gives Blair some options here. Across the middle again, and Maramy's unable to haul that one in. Excellent play by the Bulldog defense.
Again goes high on the passing attempt. 2 right across the middle. Sandwich Maramy on the hit to jar the ball loose. And that could have been touchdown tying play there from Maramy and Blair. But a real great defensive stand for the Bulldogs. Take a look at the replay here, Derek. Look at Blair again going high on Maramy. And that's a picture-perfect sandwich moment.
The collision there at the goal line came from Joey Krause. We talked about his defensive ability there in the secondary. The contact certainly disrupted the catch attempt by Maramy. So far we've seen Maramy at tight end, not so much at Brock Kenny. We'll see if they switch that here in the red zone as Maloney is dragging defenders forward, trying to get any yards he can. And a much slower offensive drive for Ashland than what Minnesota-Duluth put up. But really it was all sparked by an excellent kick return on the opening play of the game here on ESPN+.
Yeah, 64-yard return at that as well, the official yardage on it. So really set the offense up with excellent field position. Ashland having to do this themselves and march down the field. Blair right now 35 yards, the rushing attack 34.
3rd and goal from the 6. Harvey in motion. Maloney to Blair's left. Blair looking right, back to Harvey, who came in motion and then went up and towards the field goal post. Sails incomplete, and now 4th and goal situation is Manaki Watanabe, the freshman phenom at kicker for Ashland. Trots out for his first chance at points here today, and it would be Ashland's first points of the game.
He's been remarkable this season. Hasn't missed a field goal since September 20th back against Hillsdale. He's only missed 1 on the season. PAT-wise, he hasn't missed a single one. This one for Watanabe should just be a simple chip shot. Hit a 59-yarder earlier in the season.
From the middle of the field, a 23-yard field goal here for Manaki Watanabe to give Ashland its first points of the game. Snap good, kick, up and through as Ashland gets on the board for the first time. They still trail 7-3. Bulldogs on top of the Eagles here in the NCAA Division II football playoffs.
Manaki Watanabe leads the nation in field goals made on the year. And in field goal percentage, just tacks on another. There's only been 2 games this year where he hasn't attempted one, and that came against IUP in week 1 and Northwood back in week 4. Since then, head coach Doug Geiser has trusted the leg of Watanabe, the redshirt freshman, and what he can do when given the opportunity to kick the ball. And Ashland now trailing by just 4.
The pep band, the cheerleaders on hand here for Ashland at Jack Miller Stadium. in Ashland, Ohio. A town of about 20,000 people, a lot smaller than Duluth, Minnesota. About 87,000 people in Duluth, Minnesota. So a small town atmosphere here for college football in Super Region 3. 10-1 Bulldogs, 9-2 Eagles. There's Danicki, the tight end for Minnesota-Duluth. What an excellent redshirt freshman campaign he has had in that Bulldog offense. On special teams here, certainly become a go-to option for the dual threat quarterback Wall Jasper.
Yeah, offensively on the year, over 1,000 receiving yards and 14 touchdowns. That's correct, 14, the only member of this offense for Minnesota-Duluth that has double-figure touchdowns outside of the quarterback.
That scoring drive for Ashland, 13 plays, 69 yards, took 5:52 off the clock, capped off by the 23-yard field goal from Manaki Watanabe. This one returnable. We'll see if it's as successful as the previous one. Doesn't look like it, as Ashland special teams able to hold off Deshaun Ames, who's had an excellent start to this game. Also plays wide receiver in the offense. See a lot of purple jerseys swarming the kick returner here as Russell sent it deep for Ashland. Ball popped out there just a brief moment, but Ames able to keep it.
Yeah, that's something we'll have to be on the lookout for here today between both of these two teams. Obviously very, very strong programs, but some of the issues that have arisen for either one of these two teams have been turnovers. So when those occur, what's going to happen? How are they going to make adjustments?
Over 2,000 passing yards this year for Wall Jasper, the quarterback. Ball on the deck. Ashland's defense has been feisty all year long. And moments like that, they typically capitalize on. You see Izzy Vasquez and company swarming in after the quarterback. A rare mistake by Wall Jasper on the snap. Didn't look to be too high or too low. Maybe just some miscommunication there.
It was DJ Butler who got there first to really push Wall Jasper back, and then you could see about 4 other Eagle bodies swarm to him. And the hope was maybe to, hey, draw that ball loose yet again, but back-to-back bobbles, one on the special team side of things, one on the quarterback side. We've got no unfavorable conditions here in Ashland, Ohio. Might just be some of those early jitters.
Ashland, the 6th-ranked scoring defense in America. Certainly what they've been known for this season is holding teams to very few points. Stoppage and play here. Going to be a timeout on the field.
Minnesota-Duluth.
Minnesota-Duluth takes their second timeout here in this opening quarter. We'll step aside as well. 2nd and 17 coming out of the break. 7-3 your score. Bulldogs on top of the Eagles. You're watching college football on ESPN+. Back here at Jack Miller Stadium on the campus of Ashland University, Minnesota-Duluth leads Ashland 7-3. A look at 13th-year head coach Kurt Weise. Weise with an all-time record of 114-28 at the helm for the Bulldogs. It's the first time these two teams have squared off. Lengthy program histories for these two teams, the Eagles and the Bulldogs. That one sails incomplete. Ames, the intended target from Wall Jasper there on 2nd and long.
Tried to go for the deep shot and overthrew Ames. Ames actually had his defender beat. He was marked up against the redshirt junior Isaac Brooks, a local here from the Mansfield area. And that time, if Ames would have gotten that ball right on the dot, he could have taken that to the house. But you can see that deep threat ability of Wall Jasper. He'll keep attempting those throughout the game.
Wall Jasper with the snap on 3rd and 17. Pressure coming from the Eagles. He has to scramble out to his right. Throws it downfield. Maybe a flag. No, ball sails over his head. A little bit of contact, but not enough to get a flag from the officials as Ashland's special teams unit comes back on the field. Looks like the Bulldogs going to punt this one away on 4th and long.
On the move there, Waljasper trying to avoid Elijah Baldridge, threw it high, trying to get it down the field to Chuck Gilbert III, and just about a foot high of him. The redshirt sophomore, 6'3", 190 pounds. That's a hard man to miss.
Out there to boot it away, Drew Henson for the Bulldogs, sent deep. Weiss back to return. It is returnable as he moves out to his right near that Bulldog sideline. He dips out of bounds. Ball out at the 47-yard line, crossing midfield. So good field position here for Cam Blair and the Eagle offense.
That's the good old-fashioned Ashland defense we're used to seeing this season. Just being able to get stops like that, get the ball right back for the offense. When they're given field positioning where a team has to go all the way down the field, it makes that playbook a lot more short initially. So Ashland able to make some adjustments on drive number 2 defensively. Let's see what the offense has in store for us after getting 3 on the last one.
These two teams have had a chance to feel each other out now. A couple possessions each. This will be Ashland's second. Trips bunch to the left for Blair. Tailback is Stevenson for the first time. A reverse, and Harvey's going to throw it downfield. Man open downfield is Joseph, and he couldn't catch it. Ball thrown kind of behind him. Joseph was out in front, but great closing ability by the secondary, and the defenders downfield trying to get to Joseph. There were 3 Bulldogs heading downfield. A little trickeration here in the opening play following the lengthy return.
Look at Harvey here loading up and throwing this one. This is a good thrown ball. Joseph just behind him, has his left hand on it, just can't bring it in.
Had that one been out in front of Joseph, that might have been a touchdown for Ashland. Harvey got hit hard as he threw it too, so some toughness shown there by the wide receiver having to throw it on that one. Stevenson still in the ball game, but Blair keeps it himself. Defense kind of focused on Stevenson, and bursting his way out beyond the 35 is Cam Blair. Ashland offense cooking here on this possession very quickly, reminiscent of that opening drive from Minnesota-Duluth.
You see quarterback Blair tuck it, find the lane, get forward. The big thing that we're kind of concerned about is his ability to keep the ball. Had a fumble last week, had 2 fumbles the week before that, so 3 in the last 2 weeks. Has got to keep that ball to him.
Luke Humbert on the tackle for the Bulldogs. 3:45 and rolling left here in the first quarter. A 1st and 10 now here for Ashland. Pistol look as Blair fires left. That one falls incomplete. A great contest there on the sideline by the defensive back, Brock Unger.
Unger leads the nation in interception return yardage, so when he gets his hands on the ball, he can take it a long way. You see him go up for this, had it in and out of the hands. Good help from Joseph to put his left arm in there and swat that ball down to the turf.
And Joseph had to play defensive back there, looked like for a few seconds, try to keep it away from Unger, who has 3 interceptions on the year. Man in motion's Romanowski, the fullback, little blocking room up front, and Stevenson cuts back to his left. A couple of Bulldogs in there on the takedown, one of them, Jace Walrath, the linebacker.
We'll probably see a barrage of running backs here today for Ashland. Hardson, Maloney, Stevenson on the game. Maloney 5 carries, 26 yards. Stevenson got himself 5 yards on that carry to bring up 3rd and manageable.
So far it's been drive by drive. Maloney on the first, Stevenson on the second. Trips bunch to the left here for Blair. Stevenson to his right. Jamari Kroom, top of your screen. That top receiver there has some speed downfield. He cuts across the middle though. They go to the other player cutting across in the opposite direction. It's Jonathan Merrimee, who's really been a safety valve here in this offense early on.
That's his 4th target now, and his 2nd catch. His first one went for 23 yards, and that's going to reset the change of the first. A nice catch by Merrimee, but we talk about the way in which the Minnesota-Duluth Bulldogs are swarming to the ball right now. There were 3 guys to try to bring Merrimee down to the deck.
2 conference champions squaring off here at Jack Miller Stadium in the playoffs. Outright champions of the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference are the Minnesota-Duluth Bulldogs. Ashland splitting a share of the Great Midwest Athletic Conference Championship. Blair across the middle quickly, and what a hit Harvey took from behind as that one sails incomplete. In there quickly, Matt Marusic.
A redshirt freshman from Barrington, Illinois. A huge hit from behind. He's been one of the prime defensive backs for this team all season. Look at this throw across the middle here. Bang! Harvey just takes a mean shot from behind.
That's secondary for the Bulldogs. Feisty here today. Playing with some energy. Trying to make things tricky for the opposing quarterback, Cam Blair. The Ashland offense on the season towards the bottom. 9th out of 10th in passing offense, 172 yards per game. I'm not sure if the ball popped out. Somebody dove in there late. Stevenson on the bottom of the pile. And a great heads-up play there by the Bulldog defense. Earn it. And they have done that here today, leading 7-3. Kraus and company in there on that last takedown. A lot of substitutions here for the Bulldogs, and that was one thing we heard earlier in the week on the depth for really both of these teams, but it's showing on defense for the Bulldogs.
And trying to keep everybody all set and ready to go here as the first quarter dwindles to a close.
Inside 90 seconds. 3rd and 11 here for Blair. Fires left. That one caught by Brenner. And one of the first catches of the game on offense, and that's going to be a first down. And that pushes them. Should be a goal-to-go situation. Ball might be marked down at the 10-yard line.
Take a look at Blair here, throwing this one to Brenner. Brenner catches it, immediately sees contact coming, but turns up the field to pick up the first down. He needed those extra yardage, and that will reset the chains. Although Ashland was in this position, last drive ended in 3. They'd love to find the end zone here and take a lead.
Ball spotted at the 8. 1st and goal from the 8. That one sent to Krum in the back corner. A flag on the play. That was what the awkward, movement there before the snap. A free play for Ashland's offense. We'll see what the official.
In the neutral zone at the snap, number 51, defense. That penalty enforced after this is to the goal. It's still first down.
Alan Davis, our referee today. Great group of referees and officials from the GLVC officiating today's game. Met with them yesterday before today's contest, trying to keep things in line. And a very clean game early on here in this first quarter. Ashland trying to take the lead for the first time today. They played from behind the entire first quarter.
Looks like there might be a slight issue right now as referees will discuss some things. Prior to the snap, Ashland is knocking on the doorstep of finding pay dirt.
As we get back to the action. Stevenson behind Blair. Blair in the pistol. Rubanowski to his right. Man in motion is Krum. Pressure coming from the Bulldog defense. Designed run to Stevenson. Pushes the pile maybe forward for a half yard or perhaps a full yard depending on the spot. It was from the 4. I'm not sure if he got a full yard. This is going to be a tough situation here for Ashland's offense.
I wonder if they'll run a play here before the break. I think there's enough time to let this clock dwindle out.
Maybe a half-second differential in favor of the game clock.
Hard to tell.
That clock continues to move inside 10 seconds. Ashland looks as if they're going to take one final snap here. 3, 2, and 1. They do take the snap. Blair keeps it, rolls to his right. Pressure coming quickly. And Meremy, I think, caught it. No, he's unable to toe tap in the back of the end zone. That'll be incomplete. What an athletic play that would have been by Meremy. The outstretched hands of the lengthy tight end, unable to pull that one in. So it'll be a 3rd down situation coming out of the first quarter break for Ashland. Blair trying to connect with Meremy, unable to do so. He bobbles the ball, but obviously the foot down there. That official in the back end zone as the fans voice their frustrations here at Jack Miller Stadium. Might be what 3rd-year head coach Doug Geiser, 27-9 at the helm of the Eagles, is talking about with the officials. Back and forth battle between these two teams. 7-3 your score. You're watching college football on ESPN+. Back here on the campus of Ashland University, 7-3 the score. Minnesota-Duluth leads Ashland in the NCAA Division II playoffs on ESPN+. Thanks so much for joining us. Moments ago, Ashland trying to connect late in the first quarter on the final play, and on 3rd and 3, Ashland's able to score on the opening play of the third quarter. Cam Blair to Jet Joseph. Ashland takes their first lead of the game.
That's a huge quick play to get to start off quarter number 2. It's just a slant across the middle here. Blair saw it the entire way, wanted to go to him, lofts it in there low and away from the defender, and a great grab of the ball by Joseph to put Ashland up ahead. Since that first drive that really looked like Minnesota-Duluth was taking over, they've completely rewritten the ship.
In a goal-to-go situation, Ashland able to score their first touchdown of the day. Manaki Watanabe, extra point, up and good, and Ashland leads 10-7. Excellent start to the second quarter for the Eagles.
Cam Blair now 5 of 11, 58 yards and a touchdown on the game. He's gotten passes off to Maremy, Brenner, and Joseph. And in the rushing attack, Ashland, Maloney, Blair, Stevenson have all gotten carries for a total of 54 yards. On the side of Minnesota-Duluth, they rushed the ball 6 times, only picked up 9 yards though, and then in the passing game, 1 completion on 4 attempts for 17 yards. I mean, Derek, it really was that 64-yard return to start the game that shifted things for the Bulldog offense, and ever since then, this defense has locked things down.
All 3 phases of the game showing their worth here in this game so far. That was Ashland's first value play on offense, really the first touchdown of the game for the Eagles. A team that's averaging over 27 a game, taking on an offense averaging over 40 a game. Eventually something's got to give. And right now Ashland has their first lead, but Kyle Waljasper and that prolific Bulldog offense about to take the field for the first time here in the second quarter. Watanabe out to boot this one away, back to return. Ames and Patterson. Bulldogs winners a week ago, 33-7 at Minot State. Ashland winners here at home, 34-14 against Lake Erie. That one returnable. It's Ames, who had that long 64-yard return to open the game. And you got to be ready in games like this from the opening play. And Ames showed us why on special teams, which gave great field position for the Bulldog offense. Since then, a little stagnant against this Ashland defense.
Ashland's defense has brought a lot of pressure the way of the quarterback. Off the edges, it's been Michael Shimmick and Elijah Baldridge. And then the linebackers have stepped up and filled the voids nicely as well. Jack Talkington, Ben Holzapfel, Sam Wakula, everybody getting involved here to try to put pressure on the quarterback, who's got that dual threat capability we talked about.
Bulldogs have won 4 straight to close the regular season. Ashland won their last game of the regular season. That one taken right back up the middle. Waljasper opting to keep it himself. Tia in there on the tackle for Ashland, pushing the pile forward. Pickup of 5 makes it 2nd and 5.
Yeah, Waljasper now with that carry and a couple of his completions he's got today, he's now over 10,000 career all-purpose yards. An incredible career at Minnesota-Duluth. The senior looking to finish off his time as a Bulldog on a high note here.
3 to his left. On 2nd and 5. Give to the tailback, and Ashland swallowing up the ball carrier quickly. Guess who? Michael Shimmick leads the nation in sacks. That one not a sack, but a tackle for loss.
Able to get in the backfield really quickly. You saw the explosiveness off that far side to be able to track down the running back from behind. Take a look here. It's read the entire way, and Shimmick knew he could get in there. Just got to grab around the waist and take him down to the ground. Shimmick now on the campaign is up to 17 tackles for a loss.
Ryder Patterson, the tailback for Minnesota-Duluth. Shotgun look here for Waljasper. He'll keep it himself. Not going anywhere on that one is Waljasper. He's tackled by Jack Talkington, the redshirt sophomore linebacker. And that makes it 4th down As the Bulldog offense sputtering here on this drive, and the Ashland defense stepping up, playing for the first time with the lead.
Ashland would love to get this ball right back and chug down the field quickly. A lot of stops here over the last couple of drives against this Bulldog offense has really lit a spark under the rest of the Eagles.
Henson out to boot it away. The Bulldogs were successful in their only fourth down conversion or attempt of the day, but that one's muffed on the punt. Weiss unable to haul it in. There's flags on the field, though. And it looks like it's going to be on Minnesota-Duluth.
I think it's going to be illegal touching. I think they might have gotten to Weiss before the ball got there.
The Bulldogs do jump on it. Special teams got down there in a hurry. Great coverage by the Bulldogs, but might be a penalty.
Kick interference, number 2, kicking team. 15 yards from the end of the kick. First down.
That would be Brock Unger, the defensive back for Minnesota-Duluth. Alan Davis, our head referee.
Yeah, take a look at Weiss here. He's trying to get to it in time, and they're going to say that Unger hit him as he tries to go down for the football.
I'm not sure if number 2 got to him at all. It doesn't
I don't think so either.
Look that way on the replay.
So either way, Ashland a huge break there to get the ball back here.
Very
up by
much
3.
so, yeah. Controversial play there. The replay didn't really indicate that Unger did in fact touch Weiss.
Maybe it was from the backside. Let's take a look here from the back angle.
You see
Unger's in front of him.
Unger pulls up. I just have no idea how number 2 hits number 20 there.
I don't think he did.
I think that's a muffed punt by Weiss, and it should have been Bulldog football. But Ashland's going to take over 1st and 10. Tough break for the special teams unit by Minnesota-Duluth. Down the field goes Blair. Harvey able to haul it in at about the 40-yard line near that Bulldog sideline. And now Ashland trying to capitalize here and perhaps a second chance at life on this possession.
Cam Blair's thrown the ball well today. 6 completions now. And you see him, his first read isn't there, his second read isn't there, and then tosses it on the move to a diving Harvey up to about that 40-yard line. Ashland very patient in the pocket today, and we're seeing this offense do some things we normally don't see, and that's throw the football.
Mojo Wirtz was the defensive lineman barreling down on Blair before he was able to throw it away. Give to Maloney now. He spun around at about the 37-yard line. Some extra pushing and shoving, but it might have been incidental contact there at the end of the play. No flags on the play. 11:45 and rolling left here in the first half as Ashland leads Minnesota-Duluth 10-7. Thanks so much for joining us here on ESPN+. Been a great game between these two squads. We've seen offense, defense, and special teams all shine. And 2 quarterbacks really squaring off right now. Redshirt senior Kyle Waljasper and redshirt senior Cameron Blair. Both with star power around them. We'll see if Ashland can increase the lead or if the Bulldog defense steps up. Flag, it should be on Ashland. Easy call for the officials. Offsides, I believe. At least a lot of Eagles jumped up front. Sorting out the numbers.
False start, number 16, offense. 5 yards from the previous spot, still second down.
It's not a lineman, it's DJ Harvey. He'll exit the field.
The true freshman's been electrifying for the team this season. Unfortunately, going to set the team back a couple of yards here, but when you look at his numbers this year, he's that favorite target of Cam Blair, 450 yards on the campaign, 2 touchdowns.
Shotgun look for Blair. 2 to his right, Kroom. Bottom of your screen, got the speed downfield. In the flat goes Maloney, snap to Blair, he keeps it back upfield. Blair dashing and looking for 6, cuts back upfield, 10, 5, and spun down inside the 5-yard line. Cam Blair, designed quarterback run, fools the Bulldog defense, and the Ashland offense capitalizing here on this drive.
Take a look at Blair. He's got Remanowski for the block. Jet Joseph will come into screen in just a moment, but Blair getting everybody ahead for him to try to push this ball towards the end zone. And inside the 5, Ashland's offense truly dynamic right now. The passing, the rushing, the quarterback play, everything flowing the right direction for the Eagles.
Goal to go from the 3-yard line. Ashland scored their first touchdown of the game from this distance to Jet Joseph. We'll see who it could be on this play. Joseph not on the field. But a pistol look here for Blair in the offense. Perhaps a design give to Maloney. They do give it to Maloney. Back up the middle he goes, and a host of Bulldogs jumping on top of the pile. Bryson McLeod. And a lot of Bulldogs underneath at the bottom trying to rip that football away as the clock is now inside 10 minutes left here in the first half.
Reminder, Ashland does get the ball come out of the break too, so if they're able to push themselves up by 2 scores here, keep that clock going, keep playing great defense, I mean, they're going to be in the driver's seat heading into half number 2.
Deep rosters for both teams. We've seen a lot of more substitutions in the last quarter and a half, or really the last 7 or 8 minutes, I should say, half a quarter for Ashland. Back up the middle, and Ashland, yes, they score on that play as Cam Blair keeps it himself. Ashland for the second time today. Goal to go situations, or less than 5 yards to get there, get that first down marker or the goal line. Ashland's been able to capitalize, and Cam Blair does that for the Eagles.
The drive led by a 38-yard rush from Blair, set up that rushing touchdown for himself. 64 yards and a score for him on the ground today.
Manaki Watanabe, extra point. That one's good as Ashland leads 17-7 with 9:27 left here in the first half.
Take a look here at Blair. Finds a little gap in the defense and dives forward. You very rarely see quarterbacks who are willing to put their body on the line as much as Blair does. And the man across from him on the other side of the field, the quarterback Kyle Waljasper's got to do the same here for the Bulldogs, trailing by 10.
Blair had a 38-yard rush earlier in the drive, which gave the Eagles a goal-to-go situation from the 3-yard line. And then Blair's able to punch it in. There are only 2 scoring touchdowns come from 3 yards out. One to number 3, Jent Joseph, and then number 2, Cam Blair, keeps it himself. So Ashland taking advantage with a short field there. Really a short field following a rather controversial call on the field. You know, the replay did not indicate that Brock Unger, the defensive back who was whistled for kick interference, did in fact touch Riley Weiss on the punt following a stalled out drive by the Bulldog offense, but Ashland, with a 15-yard penalty, able to move in rather quick fashion downfield against what appeared to be a rattled Bulldog defense. So a tough break for the Bulldogs and their faithful, obviously seeing what has happened, but Ashland moves forward and is able to score for the second time today and now lead by 10, 17-7, as Russell will boot it away. Ames and Patterson back to return. And that one sent downfield in a hurry. So out will trot Kyle Waljasper and the Bulldog offense.
13 plays for them, just 34 yards on the game. It's an average of just 2.6 yards a play. Definitely have to get trending the other direction and start to showcase that electrifying offense we've seen all year long from this team that has just 1 loss on the campaign, coming by 3 earlier in the season. This is not what we're used to seeing from Minnesota-Duluth. Can they turn a cheek here before the halftime break comes just around the bend?
Following the fair catch, ball out to the 25. That last drive, 5 plays, 52 yards, took 3:12 off the clock. That's the fastest drive of today. 2 seconds faster than the 3-minute, 14-second drive to open the game by the Bulldogs. Waljasper rolling to his right. That one sent to the sideline. Caught. Deshaun Ames, the speedy kick returner, who had that 64-yard kick return to start the game, showing his elusiveness out there outside the numbers.
First individual to catch a pass since that first drive of the game. That first completion that was thrown went to Denicky for 17 yards. So finally able to get something else going the right direction in the passing game for Waljasper and the Bulldog offense.
Well, you mentioned just before that last play, Cade, 13 plays for 34 yards by the Bulldogs. Meanwhile, for Ashland, 28 plays for 169 yards of total offense. So Bulldogs way behind in that statistical category, but looking to take this drive downfield and score before the halftime break. On the carry there, Francis O'Malley, who on the depth chart splits time as a tight end and a running back, has a lot of different skills for the Bulldog offense.
The Bulldogs obviously down by 10, but they're used to being in high pressure situations like this in the NCAA playoffs. This is their 13th appearance as a program, first coming all the way back in 2002.
Up the middle goes Wall-Jasper. There's the dual threat ability by the quarterback, who has 16 rushing touchdowns and 26 passing touchdowns. A week ago, 157 rushing yards and 3 scores on the ground in the win over Minot State. That time keeps it himself and just goes right back up the gut before he's tripped up by E.J. Tia in the secondary.
Yeah, E.J. Tia, one of those sub-linebackers, free safeties. He kind of flies around the field for Ashland, able to get to the legs of Wall-Jasper, and that's what you have to do. The guy's huge, and a guy like E.J. Tia, who's a bit undersized in that category, isn't going to be able to get him down by going for the chest. You got to go for the legs.
3 to the left for Wall-Jasper, but they give it to the tailback. Back up the middle is Patterson. Some substitutions defensively for the Eagles coming on the field as Wall-Jasper and the offense look towards the Bulldog sideline for the play call. Clock inside 7.5 minutes left here in the first half. Ashland leads by 10, 17-7 in the NCAA Division II football playoffs on ESPN+. Second and 5 situation here following that last gain by Patterson. Wall-Jasper with pressure, able to throw that one at the last moment. The intended target was Danicki.
It was Sam Wakula in the backfield putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback to get rid of it. Nearly had a pretty impressive completion there, but Danicki wasn't really ready for the ball to come his direction. It's now 3rd down and manageable for this Minnesota-Duluth offense. They can't afford another empty drive.
3rd and 5 here for Wall-Jasper in the offense. Ashland leads by 10. Might be bringing some pressure here. Wall-Jasper fires deep left side, and the tight end tripped up, but a flag comes in late.
I mean, that was a ball that was overthrown by
Danicki downfield.
5 to 7 yards or so.
Our pronunciation guy says Danicki, but the PA announcer is saying Danicki, so we'll go with Danicki. Certainly he's had an excellent
Pass interference.
season.
Number 6, defense. 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Marquise Scott, downfield whistled for the pass interference.
Take a look at the throw down the field here. Might have that right arm slightly, and I think kind of tripped over himself late there, so might be one of those calls that we saw early on Ashland's side where they were on the receiving end of a call that gave them a bit of an edge. This, for Minnesota-Duluth, punches them inside the 35-yard line, and this drive will be extended here for the Bulldogs.
Danicki, the intended target downfield. Following the pass interference, 1st and 10 from the 32 for Wall-Jasper in the offense as he lowers the shoulder and pushes his way back upfield. Out to about the 27. We'll see where the spot is. Pickup of 4, maybe 5.
He's
Wakula in there on the tackle.
You take a look at the way that he carries the football. It's like a running back. You see him tuck it, get to the outside. He just lowers the shoulder, kind of gets off balance a little bit, takes a load of hits from Baldrige and Wakula, 2 guys you can't ignore defensively, and then still falls forward to put this team in a 2nd down situation that's real nice.
Kurt Weezy, 13th year head coach of the Bulldogs, 114-28 at the helm, guiding this Minnesota-Duluth team to their 13th appearance in the playoffs, and now playing from behind down 10 against a bruising Ashland defense here in this quarter, especially in their first. Tyrone Barnes also in there, Izzy Vasquez.
It's a great hit down low. It really disrupts the motion forward for Wall-Jasper, and then a wave of Eagles are able to get in there and help. So now 3rd down. Again, we go back to it. The Bulldogs need these drives, especially with halftime coming closer and closer. The offense now up to 20 plays for 66 yards, a bit of an improvement. They got the help from the 15-yard pass interference. Can they make it count here?
3rd and 7. Empty look here for Wall-Jasper. 5 receivers, 2 to his left, 3 to his right. Has time, fires across the middle, tipped. As that one was tipped by Talkington.
A ball he definitely was not going to be able to come down with, so good on him for swatting it away. Look at the reach from Talkington. It thrown right across the middle, and he's got to dive and put everything into that to get that left arm out there to swat it down.
Denicky, the intended target downfield, cutting back across the middle, makes it 4th and 7 following the incompletion. Looks like the offense still on the field here. On the opening drive of the game, the Bulldogs marched downfield in a hurry following an excellent kick return by Ames, and then went for it on 4th down and converted and scored their lone touchdown. This is 4th and 7. Waljasper caught, that one set across the middle, and that'll be a 1st down for the Bulldogs. Chuck Gilbert.
That's a tight window to fit the ball into. You take a look at the replay here. He drops back, looks across the middle, surveys, and there's 4 guys in the area for Ashland. And it's caught perfectly by Gilbert as he falls forward for the 1st down.
Shows the veteran leadership of Waljasper and the Bulldog offense, certainly trusting in a 4th and 7 situation. Clock inside 5 minutes now left here in the 1st half. Fresh set of downs makes it 1st and 10. O'Malley still in there at tailback, that combo tight end running back look. We haven't seen much of him today other than the 2nd quarter, especially late here in the quarter. So he'll lower the shoulder and bully his way forward for a few yards. Lots of options here for Minnesota-Duluth in that playbook. As they're inside the red zone.
O'Malley behind Waljasper in rushing yards this season, 346. He's averaging 5.2 yards a carry, so pretty effective in the rushing attack. Also has the 2nd most rushing touchdowns on the team this season with 4. But again, we go back to it, Waljasper 16 coming into today. Such a drastic difference.
Of 53 red zone attempts before today's game, the Bulldogs had 39 touchdowns of those 53 attempts. They really want one here. Ball pops out, but looks like it won't be Eagle football. That one was down. Denicky caught that one and then was tackled, and the ball popped loose after that.
You take a look here. That ball comes
down.
out after he hits the ground.
So clearly down. It'll still be Bulldog football.
Look how many are at the bottom of the pile, though. Everybody in there to try to make a stop. These two defenses.
Yeah, a lot of players jumping for that loose ball that just kind of squirted out there at the last moment. 3rd and 6 from the 11. Play clock at 5. They got to snap it here. And they do. Fake to O'Malley, rolling. Not really rolling, just trying to escape is Waljasper, and Ashland gets to him. Elijah Baldridge, Michael Shimmick. Baldridge, I think, got to him first, and that makes it 4th and 7, a loss of 1 there. So a tackle for loss backs up the Bulldogs, and likely a field goal opportunity here. Take the points late in the 1st half.
Baldridge came in today with 10 sacks on the season. Look at him grab around the waist. Shimmick helping from the backside. That's that dynamic duo, always knowing where each other are to help make a play.
But remember, 99 leads the nation in sacks. He came into today's contest with 16. But Baldridge leads this team in tackles. So 2 guys with really 2 different areas of expertise, if you will, on the season. A 30-yard field goal here on 4th and 8 for Drew Henson. The snap, the hold, it's blocked. Ashland blocks it, it's picked up. Heading back the other way, Izzy Vasquez has blockers out in front. Ashland returns it to midfield. Excellent special teams by the Eagles. What a play for Ashland. Keeps the Bulldogs off the board. It remains 17-7, and Ashland has the momentum late here in the 1st half.
Look at the swarming of the sideline. Everybody gassed up after that big-time play. Ashland, one of the best field goal block units in the nation. And look at the line getting their hands up here, jumping high. And it's actually the line who gets to it. Vasquez goes the other way. Incredible for Ashland.
It was either Tracek or Shimmick that got to it. A big paw came up there and knocked that one down, and then Vasquez jumps on it before he's taken down by the kicker, Henson, at midfield. What a play for the Eagles. And with 2:05 left here in the 1st half and 3 timeouts, Ashland certainly in control.
Those are momentum swinging moments, and you heard the pop of the crowd in the roar from Jack Miller Stadium.
First and 10 from midfield. 2 receivers to his left for Blair. The tailback is Maloney. Blair firing left, as that one sails towards Harvey, but incomplete. Great coverage there by Matt Marusic.
We've called his name a lot today. The safety has helped out on that backside, especially when Ashland looks deep.
timeout taken here. I believe it's Minnesota-Duluth's last timeout of the first half. We'll talk things over. Both teams drawing up strategy here late in the first half. 17-7, Ashland leads Minnesota-Duluth. It's the opening round here in Super Region 3. Ashland in the final Super Region 3 rankings, the 4 seed at 9-2, hosting Minnesota-Duluth, who really could make an argument for having been the 4 seed, obviously finishing their season as outright conference champions in the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference. And at 10-1, Ashland splitting a share of the Great Midwest Athletic Conference championship with Findlay, who finished the year at 10-1. Ashland finished the year at 9-2, but both 8-1 in conference play. A lot of analytics go into this point in the season, but we've certainly had a great game here at Jack Miller Stadium on the campus of Ashland University. Kurt Weise, the head coach of the Bulldogs, Doug Geiser, the head coach of the Eagles, trying to lead their teams to the second round of the playoffs. 13th all-time appearance in the playoffs for the Bulldogs, 10th for the Eagles. The Bulldogs have been to the promised land of Division II college football twice, 2008, 2010, where they earned national championships. Ashland has never won a national championship, finished last year in the second round, losing to California PA 34-33. Blair, designed run, he keeps it. Back up the middle. Mojo Wirtz and company taking down Blair. Ashland trying to move some of that clock, but it does bring up a third down here, so limited options perhaps in the playbook.
Especially too, considering they get the ball back coming out of the break. You'd love to give the ball back to Minnesota-Duluth if you do, with very little time on the clock. But also, you pick up a first down here, you're in field goal range for redshirt freshman Manaki Watanabe. Anything about the 35 and in, head coach Doug Geiser said earlier a couple of weeks ago that he feels comfortable sending him out there to kick the ball through the uprights.
Blair, fake to the tailback Maloney. He's going to throw it to him. Ball knocked in the air. It was deflected and ruled as an incomplete pass, but great heads-up play there by the Bulldog defense.
He got popped from behind, too, after that ball came loose. Nearly right in the vicinity of a defensive lineman for the Bulldogs off the edge, but that incompletion stops the clock at 70 seconds. Take a look at Blair here on the tip. Watch the hit from behind, too. Just gets popped in the backside. And that ball, 3 yards away or so from popping into the arms of one of those defensive linemen.
Out trots Jane Cook, the punter, for the first time today for Ashland. Really a disaster of a possession there for Ashland, following a blocked field goal to get it at midfield and then do nothing with it. Gives the Bulldogs a minute 10 left. Cook boots it deep, aims back to return. He's not going to even touch it. Let it roll out of bounds wisely. Just north of the 20-yard line. So still plenty of time left to put something together, a minute 3 to do so. Bulldogs in the playoffs for the first time since 2021. In that year, they lost in the first round to Angelo State, 48-14. And actually, the Bulldogs have one timeout left. That stoppage in play earlier, we thought it was a Bulldog timeout. It was the 2-minute warning. I thought it came just before that, but it was the 2-minute warning. So a timeout left here for Minnesota-Duluth with a minute 3 left. Time to make something happen. Good start to this drive as Walt Jasper's able to connect with Ames out near the sideline.
Jackson in coverage for the Eagles, and you like the out routes here for Minnesota-Duluth. Get down the field quickly, keep resetting the chains, and don't take much time off that clock until you get down into the red zone. They still got 58 seconds and a whole lot of chances to cut this deficit down to 1 score heading into the halftime break. Walt Jasper now up to 6 completions for over 60 yards.
Shotgun look here for Walt Jasper. 3 receivers, 2 to his right. Patters in the tailback, but he goes across the middle on the reception. Ben Frisch, the sophomore, hauls it in and trying to get set quickly. Keep that time out. Lots of receivers sent downfield on that one. All 5 lined up as options. That one, it goes to Ames.
His 3rd catch on the game puts him over 25 yards now on the outing.
He dips out of bounds for a first down here too, so.
This is kind of that quick-moving offense we saw in the opening drive from Minnesota-Duluth. They got away from it on the drives after that, but they've had the most success today when they're moving fast and putting Ashland on their heels.
Three-receiver look, to his left for Walljasper. 39 seconds, 1st and 10, still with 1 timeout. Bulldogs, pressure. Walljasper looking to escape. Shimmick's all over him, but there's going to be a flag on the play.
The flag down at about the 50-yard line. It came from downfield where the receivers were. We'll see if it's going to go against Ashland or
Holding.
them.
Defense, number 14. 10 yards from the previous spot. It's automatic first down.
That's on Jelon Jackson downfield.
And Jackson and Tia right now talking together on the far side, and you can see some of the frustrations, and Tia kind of a teaching moment for Jackson. We got to be careful in a situation like that. And we'll be able to see it here on the replay. You look to the top side. Jackson, yeah, he easily grabs the wide receiver and nearly pulls him down, and yeah, slams him down to the turf, just about that 50-yard line.
Easy call for the officials. 1st and 10 from the 48 with 31 seconds left here in the first half. Walljasper, the snap. Pressure from behind. And the Eagle defense steps up in a big moment to sack the quarterback. Baldridge in there on the sack for the Eagles. Shimmick came in there late. Shimmick and Baldridge have made things very difficult for Walljasper. That offensive line having some troubles against the Ashland defense. And now Minnesota-Duluth takes their final timeout. Earlier in the half, they did remove 1 from the scoreboard to give them 0 timeouts, but it was a 2-minute timeout late in the first half, and now actually taking their final timeout really puts their backs against the wall here following the sack with 23 seconds left here on the game clock. Be sure to watch ESPN2 on December 20th for the Division II Football National Championships live from McKinney, Texas. Still a lot to be determined, but these 2 teams think they're worthy of a national championship berth. Have to get through each other here today and then see how the rest of the super regions play out. It's the first round all across Division II college football. You're watching it on ESPN+. Then on the 20th, ESPN2.
10-point lead here for Ashland with 23 seconds to go. No timeout, so if Minnesota-Duluth gets in Ashland's half of the field, gets in field goal range, they've got to move quickly if the ball's not out of bounds.
Shotgun here for Walljasper. The tailback who left him was Patterson. As that one sails to the turf, Ames on the receiving end of a rather big hit there as that ball fell incomplete.
Yeah.
I thought it got tipped.
Take a look here at the replay. I think you are right, because that ball gets a weird wobble to it off the edge. It
maybe just
have.
came out of his hand weird, but it had a weird wobble to it, and I think that's what threw Ames off, because it kind of came to him, you know, wobbling left to right, and then obviously he takes a hit there at the end. 3rd and 16 following the sack. We never added those yards on, so 3rd and 16 here with inside 15 seconds left, and Walljasper fires downfield, but keeps it in play, and it's nearly picked off. So it'll be 4th down. That one wasn't sent out of bounds, it was kept in play.
It was Jackson trying to make a diving play backwards. Look at talking to with the pressure. It's thrown away, and look at Jackson trying to go backwards a couple yards and in and out of his hands.
Deneke was the intended target downfield. He's had a great redshirt freshman season. Stalling out yet again the Bulldog offense. Drew Henson out to punt it away. Ashland with 3 timeouts. They'll get this back. Just a few seconds left, but maybe not much time to do anything. As that one set downfield and rolling, and that should end the first half of play, and it does as the clock hits all zeros. 17-7 the score as Ashland leads Minnesota-Duluth. A back and forth first half between these 2 teams, and Ashland has the upper hand following some successes in all 3 phases of the game: offense, defense, and special teams.
All around pretty big performance for Ashland. After that 64-yard kickoff return, they were able to allow 7 for the Bulldogs, but from there shut things down. Just 31 plays for 97 yards for Minnesota-Duluth. In comparison, 31 plays for 171 yards for Ashland's offense. Two very different performances from what we saw throughout half number one as we wait to see what our coaches have in store for us at the break. We've expected to see both Ashland's head coach and Minnesota-Duluth's as well.
17-7 the score. Ashland leads Minnesota-Duluth. We go down on the field to head coach Doug Geiser. Coach, you got us?
I got you.
A back and forth first half there early on, but the Eagles now with momentum. Talk about your teams playing all three phases of the game: offense, defense, special teams.
Well, you know what? We gave them the first touchdown. We're supposed to be kicking it out to the outside the left hash. We kicked it down the middle. They went a field return. So that's what happens in that case right there. We got them squared away again. Then the guys hung in there. He took a punch. They came back and they're playing hard. And I'm happy with the effort so far.
Coach, 31 plays, just 97 yards given up to this Minnesota-Duluth offense. How do you keep that going in half number two?
Well, you got to continue to get pressure on the quarterback. You got to find out where number 88 is. He's a key to everything they do, and to get a tackle.
Best of luck in the second half, Coach. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
17-7 the score as the Eagles lead the Bulldogs. And you heard from head coach Doug Geiser, happy with his team's performance after, quote, taking a punch. They bounce back. We often use that analogy. Two teams in a prize fight looking for a knockout punch. Right now, Ashland has the upper hand, but taking on a Minnesota-Duluth team that's 10-1 on the year and averaging 40 points per game, certainly not going to give up much in that second half. As we go down on the field to head coach Kurt Weezy of Minnesota-Duluth. Coach, you got us?
I do.
A back and forth first half between your two teams, and you guys had the upper hand early on special teams. Talk about some of the successes and failures in that first half.
Yeah, obviously the first kick return of the game was a good thing for us momentum-wise. We just haven't been able to get off the field defensively, and we made some mistakes early on, I thought, offensively, getting hit in the backfield and getting us off schedule against a good defense like that. You can't do that. So we're going to need to be able to rush the football a little bit better here in the second half, keep our defense off the field, and stay on schedule offensively.
And while Jasper continues to do what he's done all season long, he's been effective on the dual threat side of things. How do you get more individuals involved offensively here in half number two?
Yeah, we got to get our tailbacks going here a little bit. Again, I thought Ashland did a good job adjusting to some of the things we did run game-wise, which we're going to need to fix here at halftime.
Coach, thanks for your time. Best of luck in the second half.
Appreciate it.
17-7 to score as Ashland leads Minnesota-Duluth. A lot going on there. Both teams with some successes, some with some failures, and trying to correct those mistakes at the halftime break. You're in store for an exciting second half. Stay tuned. You'll catch it all as you're watching college football on ESPN+. Back here on the campus of Ashland University, you're watching college football on ESPN+. It's the NCAA Division II playoffs, and Ashland leads Minnesota-Duluth 17-7 at the halftime break. At Jack Miller Stadium, alongside Cade Caracas, I'm Derek Wood. And Cade, we look at that first half, both teams in all three phases of the game, offense, defense, special teams, had successes and failures. Ashland has the lead statistically, obviously on the scoreboard, leading by 10, 17-7. But we heard from both head coaches, pedal to the metal. This game's not over yet. You can't count either team out.
No doubt about it. You look at some of the numbers between these two sides. Cam Blair right now, 66 yards on the ground on 6 carries and a touchdown. On the passing side, he's got 70 yards through the air and a touchdown as well. A lot of different players are getting involved in different capacities. Also in the rushing attack, Chris Maloney, 7 carries for 30 yards. And Ty Stevenson, 3 for 6. So a lot of different ways that Ashland's trying to move the ball. The rushing attack, the passing game, everything going fluid right now. On the side of Minnesota-Duluth, Kyle Waljasper, a little bit of a strugglesome game for him in the rushing side of things. 11 carries, 31 yards, and in the passing game, 7 for 14 for 62.
We came into today's game thinking about a prolific scoring offense, Bulldogs, and a prolific scoring defense, the Eagles. There were some highlights early on in this game. Let's take a look at some of the highlights here from this contest. In that first half, things started out in a hurry. Following a lengthy kick return on the opening play of the game, Kyle Waljasper capped off a 7-play, 33-yard drive with a 3-yard rushing touchdown. Manaki Watanabe put the Eagles on the scoreboard for the first time. That was a long drive, 13 plays, 69 yards. Then Jent Joseph on the receiving end of a 3-yard pitch and catch for 6 from Cam Blair. 11 plays, 47 yards, 4:29 off the clock. And then Cam Blair, late in that first half, able to score one for Ashland. 5 plays, 52 yards. That drive was the fastest drive of the game. So we started one out with just over 3 minutes offensive drive for the Bulldogs. We ended the first half on a just over 3-minute drive offensively for the Eagles, and it really was a back and forth battle, and the stats show that.
Yeah, you take a look at the rushing yards right now, heavily in favor of Ashland. 101-35 passing yards, 70-62, a pretty evenly distributed game in that regard. Obviously Blair, though, with that one passing touchdown to Jent Joseph. Total yards 171-97. First downs 9 apiece. The penalties also been down. It's been a very composed games for both of these two sides. Not many opportunities for them to have self-inflicted wounds. Just 5 total penalties for a total of 49 yards between the two sides. And we got to give credit where credit's due. Defensively, lots of players stepping up. We haven't mentioned them just yet. Jack Talkington, 7 tackles for him. Elijah Baldridge, a sack and a half for him on the game alongside Michael Shimmick. He's got a sack as well. And on the side of Minnesota-Duluth, a lot of different things going right for them.
We look at the bracket, where these two teams might wind up. Certainly a lot of pushing and shoving going on in Super Region 3. Ferris State's been the odds-on favorite for a national championship. Winners a year ago. They got to take on a feisty Northwood team. Finley at Minnesota State. We talked about Ashland. They lost to Finley with 2 weeks left in the regular season, but Finley wound up losing to Tiffin. So Ashland and Finley split a share of the Great Midwest Athletic Conference Championship. Finley taking on Minnesota State. And then the University of Indianapolis, a team that Ashland lost to early in the season, taking on Truman State. So still a lot left to be determined. It'll all culminate on December 20th in McKinney, Texas, with the Division II Football National Championship, that one on ESPN2. But you've joined us on ESPN Plus today for a tremendous matchup, and so far we see Ashland out on top, 17-7. Cade, some keys to the second half for both teams.
Yeah, I think when you look at both of these two sides, one thing for Ashland is keep doing what they're doing offensively, and that's a strong distribution of the passing and the rushing attack. We talked to head coach Doug Geiser last week, Derek, and he said, although a team is rushing the ball heavily, it doesn't mean that they're moving away from the passing game. It means they're doing what's working, and they're allowing the rest of their offense to get set and ready to go. If Ashland can find a distribution and continue to keep going that direction in the passing and rushing attack, they'll be setting themselves up for success. On the side of Minnesota-Duluth, they have to find a better way to get more guys involved outside of Waljasper. When Ashland's reading him, he's got 12 carries for 30 yards. That's not a recipe for success for what he's done this season. Nearing 1,000 yards in the rushing attack, 16 touchdowns, a drastic difference in his production today. They've got to look to other guys and see who else can be one of those workhorses on the offensive end.
Two experienced head coach. We saw Kurt Weezy at halftime, the 13th head coach for Minnesota-Duluth. Doug Geiser in his 3rd year as head coach, but spent 19 years here at Ashland as an assistant coach. So lots of experience for these two teams leading the way at the coaching positions. The one person we haven't talked about, and really maybe at that halftime break, still leading with a lot of intensity, is longtime defensive coordinator Tim Rose. Talk about a football lifer, 50-plus year coaching history, the defensive coordinator for the Eagles.
Yeah, we talk about Tim Rose an awful lot here. He's just been an incredible presence on the sideline. He doesn't wear a headset. He doesn't communicate with anyone outside of word of mouth on that sideline. He's in his 17th season as an Ashland University defensive coordinator. And I said earlier in the broadcast, it might be more of a game of what can Tim Rose do against Kyle Walljasper, because he is a recipe for shutting down opposing teams' quarterbacks.
A squib kick to start us off. Talk about another opening play surprise. A 64-yard kick return on the opening play in the first half. This time a squib kick from Drew Henson. Winds up in the hands of an Eagle. Might have not been expecting it, but Chaz Cole was able to haul it in nonetheless.
58.
And actually Jaden Apgar, 37, trotted out there to boot that one away. So that might have been maybe where Ashland thought that was going.
I don't know if that was planned. It looked like it came off the boot a little bit awkwardly, and you can see the frustration on his face. I don't know if that was planned, but it almost worked out in the Bulldogs' favor. Ashland, however, jumps on it and has the ball here at the 42-yard line.
We had seen Henson at kicker and punter in that first half, but they, as a surprise to us even, instead of 39, they trotted out 37 and went quickly there trying to squib it and catch Ashland off guard. So just shy of midfield are the Eagles. Chris Maloney, a fake to him, and Blair keeps it. Talk about an open field tackle. Jace Walrath able to wrap up Blair and sling him down to the ground. It'll be second down, maybe a pickup of 2. A nice fake. A lot of Bulldogs you saw went that way after Maloney, and then Walrath with a great tackle.
Yeah, it looked like Blair kind of got stood up for a second and then slammed down to the turf. That's a great stop here. Can the Bulldogs use this as some momentum?
13th appearance all-time in the playoffs for Minnesota-Duluth, 10 for Ashland. As that one sent to the flat towards Kroom and nearly picked off. Tyrone McCoy, the defensive back, the senior from Las Vegas, trying to step up and send that one back the other way. So it makes it 3rd and 8. Short yard gain for Blair. And now Blair, that one incomplete to Kroom, makes it 3rd and 8. Great start here for the Minnesota-Duluth defense. Bulldogs trying to correct some mistakes in the halftime locker room. Ashland trying to capitalize on their successes. There's still lots of football to be played. Pressure applied. Blair fires right. That one sails incomplete. Harvey got to a good spot there. Blair was able to throw it in a nice spot too, right between the defenders. But a quick 3 and out by the Eagles might give the Bulldogs the football back. And yes, the offense stayed on the field there for a moment. Now we get the special teams units.
And Derek, that's actually something we saw towards the end of the first half. Remember, Ashland had themselves after the blocked field goal at the 50-yard line, and it was a quick 3 and out that didn't end up working out in their favor. And their second drive since then had a similar result. So the Bulldogs might have found some answers here defensively. We'll keep monitoring if Ashland's offense can make some adjustments.
Jaden Cook to boot it away. Deshaun Ames back to return. That one was nearly blocked as Cook got upended, but no flag on the play. Sails over the head of Ames, and it's down by an Eagle. So nearly a blocked punt. Special teams unit came after Cook in a hurry. But the punt winds up being a success for Ashland, and now pinned deep in their own territory are the Bulldogs. We'll see what Kyle Walljasper and the Bulldog offense have drawn up in the halftime locker room to bounce back, trailing 17-7. Thanks so much for watching here on ESPN Plus. An exciting matchup between these two squads in that first half here in Super Region 3. Give to Patterson. No, Walljasper keeps it himself. We saw Patterson early on as the tailback in that first half, and then it went to O'Malley, who plays kind of the tight end running back combo.
You know, the crazy thing is how much they're utilizing Walljasper, and unfortunately, it's not done too much today. They've thrown the ball 14 times, only 7 completions for 62 yards. They've rushed the ball now 13 times with Walljasper for just 35 yards gained, a net of 15. Outside of that, Patterson, O'Malley, and Johnson have gotten just 6 total carries.
Give back up the middle. Keep in mind this Duluth offense averages 40 points a game. That's good for 7th in all of Division II college football. Ashland gives up only 15 a game. That's good for 6th in the nation. So we talked about it in the pregame. Something has got to give. And right now, it's kind of been the Ashland defense leading the way, but then their offense stepping up and approaching their season average of just over 25 points a game.
The incredible thing with a team like Minnesota-Duluth is their lowest scoring game was against Minnesota State, 17-14. They won that outing. Then it's 28, then it's 31. So they're a team that scores a lot of points like Derek mentioned.
Back up the middle, pushing the pile. Reminiscent of a modern tush push as they get beyond the first down marker. Fresh set of downs here for Kyle Waljasper and the Bulldog offense. As that clock continues to move and the drive continues to move. Just right back up the middle. A couple of Eagles trying to push back Waljasper. 43, Ben Holzapfel at linebacker. Spent some time injured this year, back into the game, or back on the team in the starting lineup in this game. Trying to step up in a big moment here in the playoffs. Ashland lost in the second round a year ago to Cal PA, 34-33 in the playoffs. This is the first playoff appearance since 2021 for Minnesota-Duluth. Flea flicker, Waljasper downfield. That one deflected and nearly intercepted. Ames, the intended target downfield.
That was incredible coverage by Jackson. Jelon Jackson in the vicinity, following the entire way, keeping his body in perfect positioning. Look at this throw by Waljasper, right on the money. And look at Jackson's timing. Gets there right as the ball is coming into Ames' arms and nearly picked off at the last second there by what looked to be Isaac Brooks.
My favorite part about the flea flicker is everybody at one time yells in unison, flea flicker, as the quarterback gets it from the tailback. It didn't pay off for the Bulldogs, but 2nd and 10 keeps the drive alive. Give off left side on the carry. Alex Riley, the redshirt sophomore running back, didn't see a lot of him in the first half. Trying to be the difference maker. Pickup of 2 makes it 3rd and 8 here from the 30-yard line. 11:45 and rolling left here in this 3rd quarter. Big 3rd down here for the Bulldog offense. You couldn't have asked for a much better weather day the weekend before Thanksgiving. What an excellent weather day. Sun shining, not too cold, not a lot of wind. Really nothing off limits in terms of the playbook here today. Deneke caught it on a screen play. Tight end screen, ball popped out, ball popped out. No ruling yet. I think it's Ashland football.
What a crushing hit
yes,
across the middle.
Yes, it is. Ashland football.
Ashland's got it in a huge stop.
They blocked a field goal in the first half, which really gave them momentum, and now able to force a fumble from the dynamic duo of Waljasper and Deneke. Deneke took a hit following the screen, and that ball popped out.
Take a look here. Waljasper throws across the middle. Look at this pop shot right across the middle. Talkington, Wakula, and company. And he's on top of one of his teammates when the ball's out. He's not down at all. That is
so
unfortunate.
So unfortunate. We've seen some tough breaks for Minnesota-Duluth. That is so unfortunate. A player who doesn't really turn the ball over ever and has had such an excellent redshirt freshman campaign. He's laying on top of somebody beneath him, and then the ball pops out. Ashland takes over 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line, and Blair's going to throw it away. I'm shocked he never got sacked on that one. Blair was able to power through it.
That's another unfortunate scenario where he was on top of a guy. He was on top of a member of the Bulldog defense.
Yeah, Blair looked like he was sitting on top of the defender there. So a lot of high-energy plays here to start the 2nd half. You've tuned in for a great one here on ESPN+. 11:10 left here in this 3rd quarter. 17-7 Ashland on top of Minnesota-Duluth.
The Bulldog defense has been feisty on the last 2 drives. Can they put together another stop here for a 3rd straight?
Ashland at the Bulldog 36, marching downfield, trying to score. Pressure. Over the top, screenplay. This one caught by Maloney. He's tackled from behind, but rolled forward. Tackle made there by Mark Rendell, the redshirt freshman defensive lineman. Didn't see a lot of Chris Maloney in that first half, but Ashland had some other stars step up, offense, defense, and special teams.
The fortunate thing for Ashland right now is they're in Menaki Watanabe's field goal range. This should be a 52-yarder if they don't pick up any more yards here on this play. They'd love to get in a more favorable spot or at least extend it.
We've been told by head coach Doug Geiser this year the 25-yard line's the place they like to get for Menaki Watanabe, even though he's hit field goals from 50+ several times this year. They're at the 35. Across the middle, Jet Joseph. He'll get to the 25 and more. And to the 20. Gets a block back upfield, and he's knocked out at about the 10-yard line. Pickup of 25, depending on the spot. What a route run across the middle by Jet Joseph.
Huge play for Joseph to get down the field. It's a simple slant across the middle, but he's got such elusive speed. You see the catch, he gets by one guy, cuts past another, gets a hand on the top side and fights through for a couple extra yards, and he's down to the 11.
Pickup of 24 there on the pitch and catch from Blair to Joseph. It paid off once for a touchdown in the first half. Ashland now in the red zone. 1st and 10 from the 11. Looking for a goal-to-go situation here. Leading by 10. What a score this would be. Eagles give to Romanowski, the big fellow, the fullback, keeps the legs moving. We don't see him called upon a lot in the offense, but gotta love it when a fullback gets the football.
Yeah, no, not at all, Derek. And just to add more to, the claim you just made, we don't see him a lot. Well, it's because he's only gotten 7 carries on the season, including that one. 29 yards and a score. Maybe they'll go back to him when they're within a yard or two.
It does push them forward 3 yards. And actually, I mentioned goal to go. They can't get goal to go because it's 2nd and 7 from the 8. So 1st down marker at the 1 yard line, which basically makes it a goal to go situation, but semantics here at Jack Miller Stadium. Maloney doesn't care about it. He'll score anyway from 8 yards out. Off tackle left side goes Chris Maloney, and the redshirt freshman scores for the first time today.
His first season of collegiate ball, his first playoff appearance, and he's able to find pay dirt, his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. Take a look at the lead blockers here, Romanowski and Marimy. They set the stage perfectly for Maloney, and he had tons of space. There was no one in sight.
Yeah, he actually led up there about the 5 yard line and jogged into the end zone. Great space clearing up front by the offensive line, and out trots Manaki Watanabe for the extra point. What a showing by Ashland here today. Snap, hold, kick is good. 24-7 with 8:55 left in the 3rd quarter as Ashland leads Minnesota-Duluth in the opening round of the NCAA Division II football playoffs. You're watching college football on ESPN+. Back here on the campus of Ashland University, Ashland leads Minnesota-Duluth 24-7 in the NCAA Division II playoffs. First round played across the country today. Lots of great matchups across the super region. This one back and forth in the first half, but Ashland jumps out early here in the second half and in control. Alongside Kate Krakis, I'm Derek Wood. Thanks so much for joining us on ESPN+. And Ashland returns the favor. One squib kick for another. That one comes. Oh, what a play! Whoa, what a crazy sequence of events. That ball just turned on a dime at the goal line.
Incredible.
I have never seen a ball turn that way at the goal line as it squibbed downfield. Ames, the return man, stayed away from it.
Look at this kick. Ames super frustrated after the fact. Look at the ball continue to roll here, Derek.
Watanabe set it downfield, not Russell, and this one just turns on the goal line. And then Ames has to bring it out of the end zone, otherwise it would have been a safety. I have never seen something like that happen. That is a crazy sequence of events on Ashland's kickoff there. Just like Minnesota-Duluth, where they trotted out Jaden Apgar to attempt to squib. This time, Ashland brought out Manaki Watanabe, where Nate Russell has usually done the kicking duties. And it pays off for Ashland, but quickly back the other way. 30 yards goes Ames. Perhaps made a mistake, really an unintended mistake, but from their own end zone, Waljasper with time, 30 yards downfield to Deshaun Ames. And that goes to show, just like that, the Bulldogs can really take advantage of a defense They're going to try to turn this one obviously into points. They desperately need them at this point in the ball game, trailing 24-7. But another special teams play. They have been all over in all different areas. Field goals, block kicks, lengthy kick returns, and that one was one of the weirder ones.
And head coach Doug Geis has always said sometimes special teams is where you can shift the momentum of a game, and it nearly did there. But a good response from the Bulldogs. Play-by-play mentality, you got to forget about the last.
A very good response by the Bulldogs, and here goes Waljasper. Hurdles over a defender, 6'2", 240, forget about it. Athleticism all around for the Bulldogs. And Waljasper shows it off there. 16 rushing touchdowns on the year, 26 passing touchdowns on the year. No big deal, hurdles over him, picks up a first down. And just like that, 43 yards downfield at 2 plays goes the Bulldog offense. Following a surprise, football that kind of popped up at the goal line and then trailed alongside, right in front of the goal line before it was recovered on special teams. But momentum has certainly shifted back to Minnesota-Duluth here. Waljasper stepping up with pressure, throws it in the flat, caught by Patterson, and in there in a hurry with a big tackle downfield.
Chaz Cole, again, in a huge spot. He's the one who had the fumble recovery. He has been all over the place. The redshirt freshman being called upon here today to step up big defensively. And look at this, Waljasper, tons of pressure. I mean, tons. Gets it outside. It's just barely caught and kept off the turf. And look at Cole. Both legs grabbed, sent down to the deck.
Great catch there by Patterson. Cole was also the player who hauled in the squib kick earlier in the half. So Cole getting involved in defense and special teams a lot here so far. With 6:45 and rolling left here in this third quarter. Give to the tailback, but purple jerseys swarming around Derek Johnson. He's out near that Ashland sideline. A lot of noise coming from that sideline, led by longtime defensive coordinator Tim Rose. Ashland trying to get to the second round of the playoffs and taking on a Minnesota-Duluth team, which nobody can expect anything, but probably didn't think they'd be down 24-7 on the road following what has been an excellent regular season, capped off by a Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference Championship. And really probably had a great argument to make, and perhaps the best one, of we should have hosted this game, but coming on the road, they've struggled here today. Trying to bounce back, pressure again, Waljasper looking, scanning downfield, he fires it, what an arm. And it's picked off, did he catch it in bounds? He did, he caught it in bounds, what an interception.
E.J. Tia laying out.
What an incredible interception near the Ashland sideline. He tightropes it. Waljasper did this in the first half. It was nearly picked off. This time it is picked off. What an absolutely great catch by E.J. Tia. Ashland's historically good defense showing up here in the second half, giving the offense room to work. They lead 24-7. 5:46 left here in the third quarter, 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line. Ashland will take over. Waljasper on the sideline looking for answers. It's been a tough afternoon for the Bulldogs. Certainly a lot of time left, and that defense can take things over in a hurry, so Eagles have to be careful here still, but certainly playing with momentum. Chris Maloney, Doug Geiser said this year, you can't teach speed. Chris Maloney downfield with 1 to beat, tripped up at the 20-yard line. From the 22-yard line on their own end, flipping fields, crossing midfield and out racing several defenders with 1 to beat. Credit to Brock Unger, the sophomore defensive back, tripping up Maloney. And what a run from their own 22 down to the Bulldog 19.
Derek, this momentum Ashland has in half number 2 is unseen at Jack Miller Stadium this season. They have been on fire on all 3 phases of the game, and Chris Maloney just adds to it.
Blair, right corner. Kroom the intended target. Great defense there in the secondary as Tyrone McCoy keeping that one off the scoreboard. And what a run by Chris Maloney following perhaps the best interception I've ever seen. We've seen some firsts here today, and Blair took a shot with some pressure, and Kroom tried to go one hand there. What an excellent catch that would have been. But really the last two plays, the interception by E.J. Tia, and then quickly downfield goes Ashland's offense, led by the freshman running back, Chris Maloney.
59-yard carry officially, now approaching 100 yards on the game. Just truly incredible.
Give to Maloney, he's tripped up. What a positive gain there for the Ashland offense as they're inside the red zone. Ashland's had 40 attempts inside the red zone entering today. They've scored touchdowns on 40 of them. That's good for second in the Great Midwest Athletic Conference. We talked about Minnesota-Duluth in that first half. They had 39 red zone touchdowns out of 53 attempts coming into today's game. These two teams certainly able to score the football when they enter the red zone. Ashland averaging 27 a game. Minnesota-Duluth averaging 40 a game, and then scoring defense. Two top 35 teams in America. This has certainly been an exciting game for the Eagles, and head coach Doug Geiser wants to talk things over and takes a timeout with 4:03 left here in the third quarter. 3rd and 6 from the 15 coming up for redshirt senior quarterback Cameron Blair. It's been a battle of two quarterbacks, redshirt senior Kyle Waljasper and redshirt senior Cameron Blair. A week ago, Blair against Lake Erie, 88 passing yards, 1 through the air, 1 through the ground, touchdowns. Just 10 of 16 passing, because Chris Maloney a week ago, 196 rushing yards. So we saw Ashland closing out the regular season in which the rushing attack did really well, and they didn't have to really throw the football, so they tried to balance it and throw it when they had to, use the run to open up the pass. And now kind of the opposite has happened here today. You know, Ashland just throwing it around the field, but also rushing the football and, you know, taking advantage on defense. And it has been quite the season for Ashland as the Eagles have been able to string off some consecutive wins and had some hiccups along the way, but able to get the job done. We talked about the loss to Indianapolis on the road in week 2. Ashland was able to regroup and rattle off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row before falling to Findlay here at Jack Miller Stadium in the second to last week of the regular season, but then finish out the regular season with a victory at home against Lake Erie. At that same time, mid-game, Ashland learns through the PA address that Findlay has lost to Tiffin, and they split a share of the Great Midwest Athletic Conference Championship. So emotions have been running high on the campus of Ashland University the last several weeks.
And you mentioned Findlay, Minnesota State, a team that Minnesota-Duluth has faced this season, and both those teams squaring off right now currently in a matchup in this opening round of the playoffs. And Minnesota State, who fell to Minnesota-Duluth earlier in the year, is currently beating Findlay 31-7.
That last run by Blair, 1 yard short of a first down. So Manaki Watanabe, Ashland with the 17-point lead. No need to try to force the issue. Going to take the points here. Makes it a 27-yard field goal. Snap, good. Kick, good. And Watanabe's able to knock it down. So Ashland leads 27-7, opting to take the points there on 4th and 1. Something we haven't seen a lot of. And now with 3:15 left, Eagles lead by 20.
Sit down for one play.
But a flag on the play beyond Minnesota-Duluth. And Cade just spoke moments ago about Minnesota State leading Findlay 31-7. Elsewhere around the Super Region 3, Ferris State leads Northwood 44-14. The winner of this game to face the winner of that game. So it looks like if all goes well for the Eagles, the next 3:15 in the third, then the full 4th quarter, Minnesota-Duluth could certainly come back and win this game. They can rattle off 3 scores in a quarter. Can't say easily, but they can do it. They've done it throughout this year and average 40 points a game. So this game's certainly not over by any stretch of the imagination, but one of these teams likely to play the reigning national champions, the Ferris State Bulldogs, 11-0, #1 team in the country. University of Indy taking on Truman State. Greyhounds on top 30-0. So right now, with the exception of Findlay, the higher seed, if you will, 1 through 4 in the Super Region are all leading. Perhaps we saw the bracket in the Super Region earlier today here at Super Region 3. Perhaps the best matchup all around the country today. Harding, the best scoring defense in America, taking on the legends of Division II, Northwest Missouri State. Talk about a showdown in the opening round. Harding and the Bearcats.
And no doubt about it, we've got a ton of great games on slate across the country today at Division II.
Thanks so much for watching this one on ESPN Plus. Ashland leads 27-7, 3:15 left in the third. That one sails over the head of Deshaun Ames. We see Manaki Watanabe out kicking now. We saw Nate Russell in that first half. We've also seen a different kicker for Minnesota-Duluth. On the depth chart, Manaki Watanabe and Drew Henson are the listed starters, but we've seen Apgar and Russell both here today, so some depth even in special teams for these two squads. Couple squib kicks here in the second half. One's really benefited Ashland, a squib kick that went 40+ yards bouncing downfield before it kicked up at the 1-yard line, but then quickly went the Bulldogs before an incredible interception by EJT on the last offensive drive for the Bulldogs. And this has been a familiar presence here offensively for the Bulldogs. Kyle Waljasper and Deshaun Ames.
What Ashland's got to do today is be careful, because earlier in the campaign when they faced the University of Indianapolis on the road at Indy in week 2, they had comfortable control of the game in the third quarter, headed into the fourth quarter with a lead, and then started collapsing as they took their foot off the gas. They've got to be careful because, like Derek mentioned, Minnesota-Duluth, it's an uphill battle from here, but they've got the offensive talent to get back into it.
One play at a time go the Bulldogs. This one a rushing play. Francis O'Malley back in the ball game. The hybrid tight end running back spent much of today at running back. Just pushing the pile forward for a few yards. Pickup of 3 will make it 2nd and 7.
We saw that at that time, Ashland deciding to go with Darius Atley and Russell Twining to load up that defensive line and give Shimmick and Baldridge a chance to catch their breath. Now they come running back out of the field here on 2nd and 7.
Shimmick leads the nation in sacks with 16. Had some tackles for loss today. Baldridge leads his team in tackles. Waljasper, pressure from behind. He's hit as he throws, tipped in the air. It falls incomplete. The intended target downfield, Deneke, the redshirt freshman tight end.
It was Sailors and Tia in on the coverage for Ashland to break up that passing play deep down the field. We've seen a lot of deep balls thrown by Minnesota-Duluth, and look at that hit by Shimmick to kind of jar that throw a little bit loose late.
Deneke came into today with 1,074 yards in the regular season, behind the single season record of 1,201 yards. DJ Winfield, a legend at Minnesota-Duluth. Flag on the play late. EJ Tia showing his frustration. Pass interference downfield likely. And much needed yards for the Bulldogs, and pushing and shoving often doesn't favor the defense.
15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic, first down.
Alan Davis, our head referee.
I think the frustration too with it, Derek, if you're Ashland, is because both of your pass interference calls today have come on 3rd down with an overthrown ball. You just got to keep your hands off the guy and let the mistakes be made by Minnesota-Duluth. Instead, you give them a chance to reset the chains. Now that ball's moved into Eagle territory as well. Some trickery.
An unusual formation here. All the offensive linemen go out to the Duluth sideline trying to fool this Ashland defense. We'll see what happens here. Snap to Waljasper, fake to the man in motion. And downfield goes Waljasper, and should be no flag. Oh, there's going to be a flag. I think it was incidental contact.
That's a rough call. Ashland can't believe it. The referee's going to talk things over. Might end up getting picked up, but head coach Doug Geis, who doesn't have a lot of motion, had his hands up on the sideline too.
Yeah, back-to-back plays, pass interference, and opposite sides of the field, Deshaun Ames, the intended target downfield.
Defensive coordinator Tim Rose too, a fairly composed guy on the sideline. Can't believe it here. He's throwing his hands down to the ground.
Back-to-back plays, pass interference. Our head referee again, Alan Davis. Been busy here the last few minutes.
There's no foul for pass interference.
They pick up the flag. Basically, the entire Ashland coaching staff came downfield to talk with the officials, as that one really wasn't as much contact as the other play was, but maybe have looked awkward to the official who was standing behind the play. Get a great look here. Ames, the intended target downfield. I think its feet just gets tripped up. It's not really any pushing and shoving. Now, the opposite side of the field on EJ Tia, that was clearly pass interference. This one picked up by the officials. So it's 2nd and 10 following the incompletion as they pick up the flag. 1:48 left here in the third. In a fast-moving third quarter, Waljasper trying to be fast-moving as he goes back up the middle beyond or maybe just shy of the 40-yard line. We'll see where the spot's at. Sailors in there on the tackle for Ashland. Just around 90 seconds left here in the third. Ashland leads 27-7. An excellent third quarter here for the Eagles, and the faithful on hand loving it.
Now this is third manageable here. You got to pick up the first down. You're definitely not in field goal range, and you can't settle with a 20-point difference. The Bulldogs surging here on this drive. Can they keep it going, though, off a handful of penalties that have helped them?
3 receivers to his right, but the man in motion is Deneke, the tight end. He goes out left now. Might be where Waljasper goes. No, rolling right, looking right, pressure coming. He'll keep it himself. Back up the middle and a whole bunch more, and what a lowered shoulder by the quarterback. You don't see it a lot in modern college football. Quarterbacks like to stay away from the pressure, obviously, and extra hits, but Waljasper, 6'2", 240, lowers the shoulder, as tough as the Bulldog on his helmet.
Yeah, that was a pop. Look at him go right into the chest of Talkington.
Gotta
Both
love
standing up.
Gotta love it, and a back-and-forth battle continues here in the third quarter. Just under 40 seconds on the game clock. Pistol look here for Waljasper. O'Malley, the tailback, the option. Keeps it himself, doesn't pitch it. Tripped up at the 20-yard line. And what could be the final play of the third quarter. Marquise Scott in there on the tackle for Ashland. Pickup of 3 makes it 2nd and 7. And it looks like it will be the last play of the third quarter unless the Bulldogs work quickly here. Clock's inside 10 seconds. They might take one more snap. And they do. One more snap here in the third quarter. Waljasper downfield, intercepted! Ashland back the other way. Chaz Cole! Chaz Cole! We've called his name a bunch here in this third quarter.
I mean, this is an incredible second half from him.
What a performance here in the third quarter on the last play of the third quarter for Chaz Cole, the redshirt freshman from Cincinnati.
Absolutely legacy building for him today. Third quarter has been incredible.
27-7. An exciting fourth quarter left in store. Pushing and shoving, tackles all around. A clean third quarter puts Ashland up by 20. You're watching college football on ESPN+. Back here on the campus of Ashland University, 27-7, Ashland leads Minnesota-Duluth. Ashland starts things off in the fourth quarter on offense following an interception by redshirt freshman defensive back Chaz Cole to close out the third quarter. Kate, what an impressive third quarter for Chaz Cole.
The redshirt freshman had the squib kick recovery on the special team side of things to start the half, had a fumble recovery, a nice open field tackle, and then also to finish the quarter, an interception, and he returned it a long ways, was inside the 10, up near that 50-yard line.
Total plays for both teams before the start of this fourth quarter. 50 plays for 201 for the Bulldogs, 43 plays for 277 for the Eagles. As we go back to the interception that closed off the third quarter.
It's a tough ball to haul in, too.
They didn't have to snap it. The clock was winding down, but Waljasper and the offense snaps it right before the end of the third quarter, and then Chaz Cole takes it back the other way and gives Ashland the football back, leading by 20, 27-7 on top here in the opening round of the NCAA Division II playoffs. 4-receiver look for redshirt senior quarterback Cam Blair. Split evenly, back across the middle. the redshirt freshman receiver, DJ Harvey.
They got a first down, they'll give it to him, so the clock continues to tick on down here in the fourth quarter. Ashland in the driver's seat to head home with a win today and advance to face Ferris State in the next round. They've got to keep it going, though, here. Keep that clock moving, as we'll more than likely see that running back room get a little bit more deep as we continue forward. Chris Maloney, Wilchel Hartson, Ty Stevenson, probably get Romanowski back in the mix again. And obviously the quarterback Campbell, 8 carries for 73 yards today. He might not be done yet either.
Pistol look here for Blair. Familiar offensive formation. Kind of bunched to the right there, strong side to the right, but back goes left. Chris Maloney trying to outrun a defender. Can he do so? Tripped up as he'll go beyond the 20-yard line. Not sure where he stepped out of bounds. We'll see where the official spot is. Actually, he'll be at the 21-yard line, so he kind of tripped forward for a few yards, but actually got out of bounds at the 21 as he goes off left tackle, heading downfield. And there's the foot as he gets pushed out of bounds.
Chris Maloney now 3 of the last 4 games has rushed for over 100 yards ever since he was given the keys to the running back room from head coach Doug Geiser and the coaching staff. He has taken a hold of his opportunities and surged for the offense.
Cade, you mentioned the clock. Certainly being something Ashland would focus on, trying to keep the ball on the ground. It's moving. Chris Maloney looking to do that as he pushes back forward. He might have got a yard after being hit in the backfield first. Yeah, bring up 2nd and 9 here. And the Minnesota-Duluth Bulldogs looking for answers here at this point in the ball game. Desperately need a mistake to be made by Ashland at this point in the ball game. Try to capitalize quickly. Bulldogs with 3 timeouts. Ashland took one in the 3rd quarter. There's Romanowski, the fullback, coming off the field. Only 7 carries on the game before the start of this one. He has his 8th carry of the season, and it came at a big moment in the red zone. Ashland trying to get lots of different players involved. Stoppage and play could be a
delay game. Offense, number 2. 5 yards from the previous spot. Still 2nd down.
And our head referee, Alan Davis, beat me to it. I was going to say could be a delay game, and it is.
Ashland a little bit slow getting off the field there. Colin Romanowski was having a couple of discussions with the referees. Might have been some late jarring, but the extra discussions and time taken off the clock here will keep that clock moving, though, even with the 5-yard penalty.
What was 2nd and 9 is now 2nd and 14 from the 25. Could be a safety blitz here. See some pressure coming from the secondary. Over the top, Blair goes to Merrimee, just sails that one over his head. So for a second there, some pressure applied from the secondary by the Bulldogs, and Blair tried to take advantage and go over the top. It sails incomplete, so it'll be 3rd and 14 from the 25.
He fakes the pitch to the outside and then tries to go high on Merrimee. He's thrown high against him a lot today. Merrimee's made some great plays. Other ones just like that have flown over the top. So that's his 6th target of the game.
Merrimee 6'4", 230. Certainly a lengthy tight end. Seen a couple athletic catches today from Merrimee. Maloney behind blockers, right side, bounces back left. He'll be tripped up. Maybe a pickup of 1 or 2. Looks to be 2 yards. And that'll make it 4th down from the 23-yard line.
Ashland's passing game has taken their foot off the gas slightly here in half number 2, Derek. You look at half number 1, they threw for 70 passing yards. They've only got 31 here in half number 2. And they've completed 3 of 9 passes, so they're very, very comfortable rushing the ball. And then in situations like this, get Manaki Watanabe out there and see what he can do with the leg.
An extra push puts the ball at the 22-yard line. So 4th and 11 from the 22, Manaki Watanabe out to attempt a 39-yard field goal near the left hash. That one up and good. Manaki Watanabe continues an excellent day in special teams. Ashland increases their lead. Now up 30-7 with 10:28 left here in the ball game. We'll step aside and come back with more exciting college football action on ESPN+. Manaki Watanabe out to boot this one away following a 39-yard field goal. Ashland leads 30-7 over Minnesota-Duluth. Back to return, Deshaun Ames and Ryder Patterson. As that one sails into the end zone for a touchback.
Things looking bleak right now for the Bulldog offense. They've got 50 total plays for 201 yards in comparison. Ashland 50 plays but 319 yards. The big factor today has been Kyle Wall-Jasper's unfortunate turnover mark. He's been sacked twice but has thrown 2 interceptions in his 11 of 23 through the year. On the ground, 17 carries for just 61 yards and a score. So all in all, Minnesota-Duluth has a lot to make up.
218 rushing yards as a team for Ashland, 91 for the Bulldogs. As that pass is incomplete from Wall-Jasper. So the fourth quarter not starting off on a positive note for the Bulldogs. 2nd and 10 following the incompletion from the 25. The last 2 scoring drives, both capped off by field goals from Manaki Watanabe, a 27-yard field goal following a 5-play, 68-yard drive that took 2:31 off the clock, and then most recently, a 39-yard field goal following an 8-play, 37-yard drive that took 4:32 off the clock. Wall-Jasper with pressure from Baldridge. Number 2 gets to him. What a sack! Deep near the end zone goes Wall-Jasper, trying to escape the outstretched arms of Elijah Baldridge, and he sacks him deep into the backfield. And now backs really against the wall. Just all day Baldridge making quick work of the offensive lineman, that time on the receiving end of some shifty moves. Jay Sean Thomas, 6'4", 300 pounds, and Baldridge able to work around him. And then Deneke catches it on the sideline. You got to give credit where credit's due. The Bulldogs, when something happens against them negatively, they respond almost immediately with a positive, trying to make short memory of things.
It's now 4th down, though. Minnesota-Duluth has to make something happen here.
A 4th down. Wall-Jasper stepping up, trying to get to the marker. I think he's short. It looks like the spot will give him a 1st down. And yes, it will. So by inches, Wall-Jasper able to pick up the 1st down, scrambling and extending this drive, and a much needed opportunity for points. Wall-Jasper.
That's gonna be a face mask, I think.
Yeah, Wall-Jasper fell very awkwardly. That face mask was clearly the reason why.
That was a very awkward fall. He fell face first.
It shows you how, important the face mask is. It can really change all balance.
Personal foul, face mask, number 94, defense. 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic 1st down.
It would be Russell Twinning on the defensive line. Our head referee, Alan Davis. The officiating crew from the GLVC.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. And obviously a concern, too, as somebody falls towards the top of their helmet, but Wall-Jasper able to adjust before he hits the turf. Give quickly to O'Malley as he gets beyond midfield. Doesn't think he got tackled. Keeps running. Thought he rolled over the player, but that one blown dead.
That's his 4th carry of the game. You see this hurry-up offense from Minnesota-Duluth. They're not throwing in the towel just yet.
Reminiscent of the first drive of the game where they worked very quickly following a 64-yard kick return. On 2nd and 2, they keep it on the ground, trying to pick up a 1st down. And by the spot, that would be 1st down, and yes, it is. Fresh set of downs here for the Bulldogs. They're working with tempo here, trying to take advantage of an Ashland defense that is really used to more teams setting and trying to call plays. Across the middle, that one goes. It's hauled in. On the reception, Peyton Menzel. His first reception of the day, the redshirt freshman.
Wall-Jasper's now up over 140 passing yards on 14 completions. He's also rushed for 50. So he's nearing 200 all-purpose yards, trying to surge this team back.
Clock inside 8 minutes. Shimmick after Wall-Jasper. He throws this one deep into the Duluth sideline. Flag on the play near, well, both sides of the field, at about the 10-yard line in the secondary. Could be holding downfield. We've seen that a couple different times today.
Yeah, we saw Jackson get called that towards the tail half of the first half of play.
Illegal substitution. Defense, 5 yards in the previous spot, still first down.
We talked about the important substitutions play for both of these squads throughout the game, and right there, just a bit too much trying to sub people in at the last moment. Legal substitution benefits the Bulldogs, 5 yards, and now 1st and 10 from the 25. And what seemed like backs against the wall situation quickly has not turned into that. That's a fumble. Hit from behind, Shimmick. And Ashland falls on top of it. A turnover yet again. That was one of the more slowly developing turnovers ever, but Shimmick hits Waljasper from behind and gets the sack. And then the official ruling on the field is a fumble.
The ruling on the field is a fumble.
Looks like it's been challenged by Minnesota-Duluth.
Yeah, that's where the kind of the awkward stoppage was. It was in real time stopping as it happened.
I'm curious to see where this one goes, Derek, because he had the throwing motion, but I think the ball came out.
Minnesota-Duluth is challenging the ruling on the field of a fumble. This play is under further review.
I think the ball came out well down near his elbow.
Yeah,
Take a look at the replay here.
Shimmick hits it from behind. It's always the throwing motion.
I don't know. That ball looks to come out behind.
Yeah, that's a tough call for the officials here at this point.
Because I think the ball has to come out at the top of the throwing motion for it to be an incompletion. That ball comes out well before then. This might be an easy decision for the referees, but either way, they'll head in that black tent. And a reminder, they do not have the same look that we do.
Yeah, they get a kind of a coach's cam from up top. So the look is going to be a lot different than what we can see here on ESPN+. But nonetheless, they're going to take a second look. 13th year head coach Kurt Weezy wanting to look this one over. I think it's a fumble.
I think it is too. The ball comes out right there.
That look to me indicates a fumble. And I think Shimmick's right hand gets to it as well. What a hit Waljasper took. To me, it's a fumble from up here, but as it happened in real time, it was developing so slowly because both teams thought incomplete pass. So kind of an awkward fumble nonetheless, but Ashland does jump on top of it. Shimmick with a sack and a strip, if it's ruled that way. On the field, it was ruled as a sack and a strip and then challenged by Minnesota-Duluth. Shimmick leading the nation in sacks, entering today with 16. What a prolific player he has been. Shimmick actually takes a very awkward angle here with his helmet. Watch how it kind of tucks up underneath. That could have gone a much different way for Shimmick too, but he was not shaken up at all in the play. So a lot of helmets colliding and body parts contorting in different ways as they tried to jump on that loose football.
And you saw who was there with him, Derek. It was Elijah Baldrige on the other end. I mean, those two have been relentless this season. And credit where credit's due. Ashland has found a diamond in the rough in Elijah Baldrige and what he's been able to do. The cool thing about it is Baldrige and Shimmick have just become such a relentless duo. They're up over 20 sacks on the season combined together, nearing 30 at this point.
And it's really been a slippery slope ever since the blocked field goal earlier in the half for the Bulldogs, and now trying to avoid disaster here. A sack and strip recovered by Ashland.
The ruling on the field is upheld. Minnesota-Duluth will be charged a timeout, and they have lost their ability to challenge for the remainder of the game. 1st and 10, Ashland.
Sack and strip by Michael Shimmick. Kyle Waljasper coughs up the football, and Ashland takes over on offense with 7:38 left in the ball game. Or excuse me, 7:36 left in the ball game, as if the 2 seconds will make a difference here in this one, with Ashland certainly in control, leading 30-7.
Up by 3 scores. They have a chance to make it 4 here on this drive, as they'll more than likely, Derek, just run this ball down the throat of Minnesota-Duluth and try to get this time at least down under 5 minutes on this possession alone, and then march their way to a victory.
Shotgun look here for Cam Blair. Rumanowski, the tailback, with him. Spent a lot of time at fullback. Man in motion, DJ Harvey. Ashland will be in no hurry to make things happen, just gonna try to move the clock as Blair pushes his way forward. An excellent showing by the Eagles here today. Bulldogs striking first, and then that was it. That's all they've done really in terms of offense. We heard from head coach Kurt Weezy at the halftime break about correcting some of the mistakes. They haven't quite done that. Ashland was able to capitalize quickly in the second half, and now certainly with the lead.
Timeout, Minnesota-Duluth. This is their second charge of the half. Please set the game clock, 7 minutes, 34 seconds.
The Bulldogs want to talk things over.
He spoke back about their offense, and outside of that first drive, I mean, you look at their plays today, 58 plays for 223 yards. That's an average of 3.84 yards per play. On Ashland's side, 51 for 323, an average of 6.5 yards a play. That's a drastic difference, Derek.
But a lot of big plays here in this one. Ashland leads 30-7, but perhaps none other have been any bigger, or none bigger than any other than this one. And our play of the game here on ESPN Plus, it was a slippery slope for Duluth ever since the blocked field goal that was recovered by Izzy Vasquez, which put Ashland in an excellent position to capitalize on offense. And since then, a lot of big momentum plays. And that is our play of the game. A blocked field goal that set Ashland up in excellent field position to take advantage and try to capitalize on offense. Then they did, and have made a lot of really unique things happen. And Kyle Waljasper and company have struggled to make things happen in the second half. And now Cam Blair back out on the field on a 2nd and 6 situation at the 37-yard line with 7:34 left here in the ball game. Just trying to close out this game on a positive note.
He's controlled it well, 101 passing yards, 9 of 22, 9 rushes, 77 yards. And the best part about it, Derek, hasn't turned over the football yet.
Blair tucking his helmet, pushing forward, trying to keep the clock moving.
Chris Maloney, the lead back today, 15 carries, 137 yards, a touchdown. Stevenson, 3 carries for 5 yards. Romanowski, 1 carry for 3 yards. Haven't seen Hartson get any action today yet in the running back room.
Timeout by Minnesota-Duluth. That's their final timeout. Ashland leads 30-7, 7:29 left here in the ball game. 2nd and 6 coming up here for the Eagles. We'll step aside and come back with more college football action on ESPN Plus. Following a short pickup on 2nd and 6, it makes it 3rd and 4 at the 39-yard line as Ashland leads Minnesota-Duluth 30-7 here on ESPN Plus in the opening round of the NCAA Division II football playoffs. These two teams from Super Region 3. Ashland finished the regular season ranked as the 4th team in Super Region 3, so they host the final game in the opening round. And happen to be matched up here with what you could call the 5 seed, the visiting Minnesota-Duluth Bulldogs, but a team that really, based on analytics, had a really good chance at saying they should host a playoff game. But this game has wound up in a much different direction on Ashland's home turf, where home field advantage in the playoffs certainly does make a difference. With the exception of Findlay, all the home teams with leads today and victories. And now on a 4th and 1 following the short gain there, Ashland certainly going to try to move that clock. They've got 5 seconds on the play clock. Going to take a timeout here and then snap it on 4th down. So some timeouts here over the last few plays have certainly halted momentum and progress here in this one. And that's Ashland's 2nd timeout. They'll have 1 left. Minnesota-Duluth took their last timeout just a few moments ago before our last break. So they have no timeouts left. And 6:41 left here in the ball game, where Ashland looking like they're moments away from emerging victorious and picking up win number 10 on the season. They finished last year 9-4, 8-1 in conference play, and then fell in the 2nd round of the NCAA playoffs to California PA, 34-33. So Ashland's Last playoff trip came just a year ago. 2 great seasons for head coach Doug Geiser and the Ashland Eagles, conference champions, back-to-back seasons, and then getting to the playoffs in back-to-back seasons. This is the first matchup all time in football for Ashland University and University of Minnesota-Duluth. These two teams squared off in national championship play in women's basketball just a few years ago. The Ashland Eagles went down to Dallas, Texas, and took on the Bulldogs of Minnesota-Duluth and emerged victorious in that one. That one in 2023. Last time the football team at Minnesota-Duluth was in the playoffs was 2021. They lost to Angelo State 48-14. Bulldogs finished last year 7-4, 6-4 the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference, as that one's booted away on the punt on 4th down. It might pop up at the goal line again, and this one actually does go into the end zone, so it'll be a touchback, and Kyle Waljasper likely to trot out here for the last 6:32 on a 1st and 10 situation from the 25 and try to do what many would consider the impossible at this point and crawl back and win this one, but a lot would have to go right. It's actually not out of the question. Timeout certainly hurt your chances with no timeouts left, but you know, this team is rather prolific on offense, scoring 40 points a game, but just given what we've seen here in this one, the offense has really struggled to work against that Ashland defense, who's likely not to let up here at this point.
And you give credit where credit's due to Ashland's defense and defensive coordinator Tim Rose, who's made many adjustments throughout the game and has hindered the movement abilities of the quarterback. And look at this, pressure again.
Waljasper scrambling as he dips out of bounds to the Bulldog sideline, trying to save himself from being sacked or tackled for a loss yet again.
21 carries now for him on the game. I mean, that's an incredible amount for your quarterback to be moving the football with his legs. He's averaging just 42 yards a carry as well or 42 yards on the game, so 2 yards a carry.
Last week had 23 carries, but for 3 touchdowns and 157 rushing yards. A much different case today, even though he's approaching the same number of carries.
And you go back to that, it's almost not a knock on them and their play style. It's the adjustments of Ashland's defense that's really been the difference maker. I mean, they've got such speed on that defensive line, and the linebackers, not only in the spy department to follow him around the field, but also in coverage.
What a hit.
Oh my. Is that Chaz Cole?
Deneke takes a huge shot across the middle as the intended target from Waljasper.
And it's Chaz Cole.
Chaz Cole, we keep saying his name here in the second half, just put an absolute hit on Deneke. And that ball was incomplete as the Eagles jumped on it quickly.
That's a crushing blow.
Really is at this point in the ball game, and adding insult to injury makes it 4th and 1. But the Bulldogs stay on the field. Obviously going to try to pick up this 1st down. They desperately need one here. Man in motion is Ames. They give it to him. And he will pick up the 1st down and a little bit more out near the 40-yard line now as he's pushed out of bounds.
You like to see him pick that one up. Minnesota-Duluth kind of diving into the bag of tricks there to go with that jet sweep to Ames and get him the football to go up the field. Ames is a versatile threat. We saw him, have a slight slip up on the special team side of things earlier in the game, but he's got now 5 receptions for 70 yards, and he's also been targeted in the rushing attack once.
Patterson with that one on the reception from Waljasper. Clock keeps moving. Pickup of 6 makes it 2nd and 4. Waljasper again in the pocket, scrambling out to his right. Cross body, that one sails incomplete. And it's difficult, Kate, at this point in the regular season, or excuse me, in the playoffs following the regular season, to predict anything. But has Ferris State, the reigning national champs, #1 team in the country, have they seen a defense like Ashland's this year? If you look at the schedule, you'd say no. They really score the ball at a rather ferocious rate. But they haven't seen really a defense like Ashland's, as Ferris State's in the 4th quarter now against Northwood. They lead 65-14. It's the #1 scoring offense in the country, Ferris State is, entering the opening round here of the playoffs. We have a stoppage in play due to an injury. But elsewhere around the playoffs, Ferris State on top of Northwood. They're the #1 scoring offense in America at 52 points a game. We talked about the really blockbuster matchup of Harding and Northwest Missouri State. Harding is the best scoring defense in America, holding teams to less than a touchdown a game.
Incredible.
But Ashland's defense only gives up 14 points a game. That's good for 2nd in the conference and 6 in America. So you have the #1 scoring offense against a top 5 scoring defense, and 7 is less than 14, so the scoring defense number is likely to go down for Ashland, so that number will improve for them, their place in the country. So a showdown perhaps between two very opposite teams statistically speaking, as Ashland looks to close things out here against Minnesota-Duluth. Walljasper, he just throws that one out of bounds, couldn't do anything with it. Baldridge thought he sacked him first.
I think he might have. He might have gone out of bounds. We'll have to see if they decide to give him the sack or what the deal's going to be here. The referee's talking things over.
He just flung it to the sideline, incomplete, makes it 4th and 4. Obviously, Walljasper and the offense going to stay on the field.
And again, some updates for those scores around the region. Ferris State looks like they're going to win this one against Northwood. Minnesota State taking down Findlay, the #2 seed, 37-14. And then UIndy taking down Truman State, 30-0.
So seeds 1, 3, and 4 on top in their respective matchups. That one sails incomplete. E.J. Tia all over the intended target downfield. Joe Flaherty downfield, the intended target. On that 4th down incompletion, Ashland takes over 1st and 10 with less than 5 minutes left here in the ball game. Ashland faithful on hand, battling off some colder elements, but not too cold. The shade there certainly makes it a lot colder here at Jack Miller Stadium. The Minnesota-Duluth fans are actually in the sunshine on the other sideline. And that's why we got those long arching shadows, you know, here at Jack Miller Stadium.
The drive from Minnesota-Duluth to Ashland, 12 hours, 800 miles. So for those who drove here, certainly was a trip.
We talked about the small town atmosphere of Ashland, Ohio. At the last census, just over 19,000 people. Meanwhile, the city of Duluth, just over 86,000. These two teams have been playing football for a long time. Ashland started playing football in 1920. Minnesota-Duluth started playing football in 1930. So two rather historic programs in Division II college football. Ashland just over 4.5 minutes away from emerging victorious. They lead 30-7. Pickup of 2 there moments ago by Maloney makes it 2nd and 8 from the 43.
Maloney's got 17 carries today. That's just over halfway to the mark he had last week against Lake Erie. Derek, remember, he rushed for 200 yards on 32 carries. I mean, he has been a workhorse ever since taking over as the lead back.
Blair in the pistol, snap, give to Maloney, tripped up immediately on the tackle there. Joey Kraus might not have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. And yeah, no gain on that one, so it's going to be 3rd and 8. Late in the 4th quarter, Ashland on top. A lot of variables in this one, statistically speaking. You know, this game could have gone a lot of different ways. But they often use the cliche, defense wins championships, and Ashland's defense able to step up time and time again this season. Certainly a championship not on the line, but really 1-0 every week, as head coach Doug Geiser has said several times this season. Many teams have that same mentality, and Ashland moments away from doing just that. Maloney again on the carry, trying to push his way towards the 1st down marker. And the spot will put him a yard short. Interesting choice here for Ashland, leading 30-7 on 4th and 1. What do they do?
I think you bring out Manaki Watanabe, 58-yarder.
Field goal here would be 53 yards.
Apologies, not a math major.
And Doug Geiser likely to call a timeout here before the play clock expires. About 7 more seconds, he can do so. And yeah, they're all waiting for the play clock to get to 1, and he'll take the timeout. So a timeout on the field with 2:40 left in regulation. 4th and 1. Ashland will talk things over, likely just to make a decision here on what they do. 4th and 1. Field goal from here would be 53. Manaki Watanabe earlier this year, Cade, set a career record, program record. Certainly a historic day for him, and he has the leg. It was longer than 53.
Yeah, it was a 59-yarder, and it was the 2nd longest kick in Great Midwest Athletic Conference history. By a yard more would have tied that mark at 60. I mean, but any kicker at the college level, specifically Division II, who can boot the ball as well as Manaki Watanabe has this season. He's out there right now. He might be kicking here. He's already made 3 field goals today. Be curious to see if he can make it 4. That would be his most in a game this season.
Fourth and 1 with 2:40 left here in regulation. Ashland leads by 23. It looks like the offense is coming back out on the field. Ashland just going to try to pick up the first down, and then still don't quite have the math lined up to just, down it a few times and end the game. Unless Ashland opts to just give it back to Minnesota-Duluth here.
That might have been very, very close to a neutral zone infraction by the defense. And now here comes the pooch kick here for Blair.
Blair is going to step back and put it away. You can see that look to the sideline. Usually that's kind of what they do. An excellent pooch kick as that one's recovered at the 1-yard line. Yet again, Ashland's able to capitalize in strategic moments, and that's why they lead 30-7.
I mean, Derek, they've not slipped up much at all today. I mean, this is probably the most well-rounded, complete game of football we've seen from Ashland this season.
And we heard from head coach Doug Geiser in the halftime break. He talked about really giving up that first touchdown because of the lapse on special teams. But since then, mistakes corrected, and the defense stepped up in big moments. Minnesota-Duluth, other than that moment, has struggled to put things together. Statistically speaking, though, was able to put together quite a nice day. They just took on a historically good defense. Either way, it's a safety or a pick 6. Ashland could take either one. Wall Jasper sacked in the end zone. It's going to be a safety.
It would have been right into the arms of Jack Talkington for a pick, and look at him laughing it off.
Talkington caught it and just walked in from 5 yards out for a pick 6. But they're saying it's a safety. Ashland's defense sacks Wall Jasper in the end zone. Russell twinning. And a safety.
I mean, could this get any worse for Minnesota-Duluth down the back half of the game? It's tough to see.
32-7 now the score, and the Eagles get it back following the safety.
Let's see if his knee does come down here. I'm curious because it's a very late attempt to throw it away from Wall Jasper, and yeah, his knees are down. But look at the ball right into the arms of Talkington.
I don't think I've ever seen that. The safety ruled a safety. He throws it, and it still is a pick. Either way, it's an awful outcome. Give credit to this Minnesota-Duluth team making the long trip. Still a 10-win team.
And had an incredible season, conference champions.
Incredible season in the playoffs. That's the unfortunate side of the playoffs. One team will lose and be the non-advancing team. And one team has to advance and go to the next round. 32-7 with 2:26 left here in the ball game. Just some formalities at this point here. This one with Ashland certainly in control, and the Eagle players on the sideline loving it. A job well done in the regular season for both squads. Minnesota-Duluth finished the regular season on a four-game winning streak. Ashland lost in the second to last week of the regular season against Findlay, and then beat Lake Erie in the regular season finale. And then during the game, actually were updated in real time by the public address announcer that Findlay had lost on the road to Tiffin, so they clinched a share of the Great Midwest Athletic Conference Championship. Outright champions were the Bulldogs in the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference for the first time since 2012, their first undisputed North Division title since the 2019 season. So an unshared conference championship for the first time in 13 years in the NSIC. That one's booted downfield but short as it's caught at the 30-yard line by Weiss. He'll just take the fair catch.
Understandable spot for that to be in if you're the Eagles. Now I think you do have the time to, if you pick up at least one more first down, you can run out this clock. But remember, there is that 2-minute warning coming in 26 seconds.
Chris Maloney a week ago against Lake Erie, 196 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. He's certainly been a feature back for this offense today, led by redshirt senior quarterback Cam Blair. Finished the game a week ago with 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown, and 88 yards through the air. Certainly has rushing capabilities. Had a long rush of 68 yards this year, which was a touchdown, long touchdown run for Cam Blair. Romanowski for the second time today. Has less than 10 carries on the year. Spends a lot of time at fullback clearing space for feature backs in the Ashland offense.
Why not give it to him? The guy can rumble. He's got a head full of steam when he gets the football. And he also does it when he doesn't have the football as a blocker. But now 2 carries for 5 yards for him on the game. And Ashland will hit the 2-minute warning, and then after that, they can run this one to a close.
We'll step aside for a break here on ESPN+. Ashland leads 32-7 over Minnesota-Duluth. Two minutes left in regulation. Ashland leads 32-7 following a safety, which gave Ashland the most recent 2 points. Their shirts come off in the cold weather here at Jack Miller Stadium. The Eagle faithful on hand loving it. In the pistol, Cam Blair, 2nd and 7. Give to Maloney, pushing his way back up left side. So he'll be brought down by a host of Bulldogs.
Brings up 3rd and short now, so Ashland has to pick up a first down here to then officially finish the game off. If not, they might give the ball back here to the Bulldogs with a little bit remaining, and unfortunately, the Bulldogs probably don't want that ball back with how this second half has gone. 2 interceptions, a fumble, a safety. It's been strugglesome. Ashland's defense has risen to the occasion, but such a hard-fought game from Minnesota-Duluth. They have not given up till the very last straw today.
Great energy and sportsmanship by both teams on both sides. 2 historic programs with very accomplished head coaches. 3rd and 5, Chris Maloney trying to get to the first down marker, and he got pulled forward. He's likely a yard short.
I think it's just barely not there. Might be inches. Let's see where they mark it down.
Ashland has to snap it here on 4th down, but the difference in time is going to be about 25 seconds. So they could just wait and, boot it away with under 30 seconds left in the ballgame. Give it back to Minnesota-Duluth, who has no timeouts. Ashland's offense on the field. Blair might just step back and kick it away. Usually when they look to the sideline, then Blair will step back and boot it away, but they're gonna take the delay of game, it looks like. According to the scoreboard, Ashland has no timeouts left. I'm not sure what the stoppage is here, but our head referee is Alan Davis. He's trying to clear some things up. Well, the scoreboard indicates neither team has a timeout left, and Ashland walked off as if they were going to take a timeout. This would be a delay of game. Should be 4th and 6, following a 5-yard delay of game.
I think they're asking if they want to accept or decline it on the far side of the coach, or at least explaining things.
Delay of game. Offense, number 2. By rule, this penalty requires a 10-second runoff. Please set the clock to 15 seconds.
So that's what they were asking, if, accept or decline, but a 10-second runoff. So Ashland will snap it again. The clock rolls, though, following a delay of game, so Ashland does not have to snap it again. Very strategic move by head coach Doug Geiser to take the delay of game. 10-second runoff puts 15 on the clock. The clock starts again following a delay of game, and then Ashland doesn't have to snap it at all.
That is in the ball game.
Great heads-up strategic move there by Doug Geiser to close out the ball game, and Ashland emerges victorious 32-7 in the opening round of the NCAA Division II football championships.
Domination on all 3 sides of the ball. Comfortable control for the Eagles. And what a showing for them today. As Cam Blair over 100 yards passing, over 70 yards rushing. Chris Maloney, 155 yards on the ground. He had a touchdown. Blair had a touchdown on the ground, like mentioned. And then the receivers that got involved for Ashland, Merriman, 2 catches, 31 yards. Joseph, 2 catches, 27 yards. Brenner and Harvey each with 2 catches as well for 24 yards and 18 yards respectively. And the 1 touchdown in the passing game went to Jen Joseph on a 3-yard slant. Ashland, offensively, firing on all cylinders and got a number of players involved. Baldridge, 2.5 sacks. Shimmick, a sack and a half now to move his number up to 17.5 on the season. Certainly, Derek, he's on pace to potentially be the defensive player of the year in all of Division II.
Survive and advance is a common theme in playoffs, and Ashland does just that as they down Minnesota-Duluth 32-7. Excellent play by all 3 phases of the game: offense, defense, and special teams. Some mistakes made by Minnesota-Duluth, and those were difficult to overcome on the road, taking on the Ashland Eagles, champions in the Great Midwest Athletic Conference, splitting a share with Findlay, as the Bulldogs will end their season in Ashland, Ohio. Credit due to both teams, great regular seasons, historic programs with experienced head coaches and veteran players, lots of star power in our contest here today. As we see the Ashland Eagles making their way towards a familiar spot on the field following a victory. Nearing the 15-yard line, they'll be joined by the cheerleaders and a host of other parties on the field, as head coach Doug Geiser makes his way down the sideline, as we'll talk with coach here in a moment, hopefully. 32-17, the final score, as Ashland emerges victorious. As we go down on the field to head coach Doug Geiser. Coach, you got us?
I got you, yes.
An excellent start by the Bulldogs, but then Ashland took over and really didn't look back. Did you think your team corrected some of the mistakes in the halftime locker room?
I believe they did. They just kept playing, too. I mean, we got a lot of experience. A lot of these guys have played playoff football, and they knew it was going to be a long game. It's a 60-minute game. They didn't panic. They didn't lose their poise. They did a great job.
Coach, coming to the game, Kyle Jasper, the quarterback from Minnesota-Duluth, one of the best in the nation here today. You guys held him to just 45 rushing yards, 152 yards to the air, forced 3 turnovers, and also got a safety. What does that speak to your defensive play?
I'll tell you what, defensive staff from Tim Rose and his whole staff, and had a great game plan. Players went out and executed and played their tails off. I'm proud of them.
Coach, you have some veteran leadership at quarterback. The redshirt senior Cameron Blair, talk about his performance and how he was able to work with some of the underclassmen, your freshmen, and Chris Maloney and Manaki Watanabe and DJ Harvey. It's an all-around excellent performance by your squad.
You know what, Cam is a tremendous leader. He's been the leader of that offense since we started this season, and he's starting to get in his play as well, and I'm extremely proud of that kid. He persevered through a lot, and now it's his team, and he's taking us where he wants to go. Lastly,
Coach, how do you keep this momentum moving forward in the next round of the playoffs?
You know what, we'll enjoy the game for today, and then at 4 o'clock tomorrow, it's on to the next team.
Thanks so much for your time, Coach.
Thanks.
Congrats to your team.
Yep, thanks.
32-7, the final score, and there were a lot of great plays in this one, and a lot of great players as well, but what really proved to be a pivotal piece for this victory was the defense. And Elijah Baldridge, he was certainly a handful for that Bulldog offense to deal with. And we talked about Shimmick to start the game. Shimmick certainly was there a lot, but Baldridge able to step up in huge moments for this team and really led as the lead tackler and lead defensive force from start to finish.
Yeah, 8 tackles, 2.5 for a loss, 2.5 sacks. I mean, he was putting tremendous pressure on this quarterback, and the dual threat capabilities of him, he couldn't escape the speed of Baldridge. I mean, that's a guy who knows what he's doing, knows how to get in the backfield, and is working incredibly well alongside Mike Shimmick. And his presence, his efforts directly resulted in an Ashland win here today, as they'll move on in the playoffs with a defense that's looking poised to go up against the #1 offense in the nation.
32-7, the final score as Ashland defeats Minnesota-Duluth. A back-and-forth battle between these two squads. We saw Elijah Baldridge kind of leading the way defensively, Cam Blair leading the way offensively. As we'll await to see if we're joined by head coach Kurt Wisey of the Minnesota-Duluth Bulldogs. The Bulldogs on the other side of the field talking things over following the victory, or excuse me, the loss here today to the Eagles, who emerged victorious and advancing to take on the #1 team in the country, the highest scoring team in the country, the Ferris State Bulldogs, the reigning national champions. So 1-0 every week, typically the case for Ashland, and they're 1-0 today, and then on to Ferris State. Kate, any final thoughts here on this one as we wrap up our coverage on ESPN+?
Yeah, I think Ashland really was sound on all three sides of the ball. It's the first time all year we've seen them put together a complete game in the facet that they did here today. Ashland going up against a tough Ferris State squad next, and that is going to be their toughest challenge over the course of the last few seasons. Ashland right now playing their best football, but will it be enough? That's the question.
Survive and advance is the motto this time of the year in Division II college football, and Ashland does just that. Thanks so much for joining us. 32-7 your final score. Eagles down the Bulldogs. They advance in the playoffs. For Kate Krakis and all of those involved in the broadcast, I'm Derek Wood saying thank you so much for watching college football on ESPN+.